The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. Health officials warn that a third wave of COVID is likely in the Bahamas. The signs are already here, we're told. As others warn, don't be selfish and gather in crowds, especially this holiday weekend. And more COVID vaccines arrive in the country today. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
It's a new day. Wake up. It's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up. It's a new day. Wake up. It's a new day. Wake up. It's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Don Sargent is going to be joining us. Also this morning, we continue our discussions about forestry in the Bahamas and specifically looking at forestry restoration, what's required, what it entails, and what you can do to help. Plus, it's Water and Sanitation Month. We're going to be talking about that and efforts to protect the water systems in our country. We're going to be getting into that with Rotary Club this morning. And later, Morning Blend Business. Should you be a homeowner? Or is renting indefinitely the option for you, the way you should go? We're going to talk about that and how to know the difference this morning. That's all straight ahead, but first it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, it appears that Grand Bahama is in the early stages of the third wave of the COVID-19 pandemic. That's according to Dr. Nakia Forbes, the director of the National HIV, AIDS, and Infectious Disease Program at the Ministry of Health. Forbes saying that COVID-19 vaccinations are not going to be helpful in preventing the start of a third wave nationwide. She says this is very concerning what they're seeing, and they're taking this increase very seriously. When asked if she thinks the Bahamas had already reached the point of third wave, Forbes said, quote, not across the board. So in New Providence, there was an uptick of new cases associated with workplaces, and now we're seeing an uptick in general. In Grand Bahama, the same uptick has been going on for at least 2 to 3 weeks. Grand Bahama could be starting a third wave. Meanwhile, amid renewed concerns of that third wave, Consultant Physician Staff Association Vice President Dr. John Dillette saying it's important for everyone to put aside any selfish or personal aspirations and reasons to gather in large groups and remember that the pandemic is the number one concern in the country at this time. Dwight was asked whether it is responsible for political parties to campaign in large numbers given the recent uptick in cases in New Providence. 11 people who allegedly tried to bypass travel regulations with fake coronavirus tests appearing in court. They found themselves in trouble with the law after they allegedly presented counterfeit Doctors Hospital PCR test results at Lynden Pindling International Airport for inter-island travel on Friday, March 26th. 40-year-old Scott Davis pleaded guilty to possession of a forged document and uttering a forged document. This was when he appeared before Deputy Chief Magistrate Andrew Forbes yesterday. Davis was headed to Andros with his 1-year-old son when he was arrested at LPIA. Davis's lawyer says his client tested negative for the highly contagious virus while in custody. Forbes deferred sentencing for the fisherman to April 7th. He was freed on $2,000 bail in the interim. Meanwhile, Ed Roy Roll, Samuel Colbrook, and a 17-year-old girl were also admitted to having fake COVID-19 tests when they appeared before the Chief Magistrate, Joanne Ferguson Pratt. They were released on their own recognizance and returned to court for sentencing on April 1st. Janae Jolly pleaded not guilty when she appeared before Ferguson Pratt and was remanded to prison until Thursday pending a bail hearing. Ferguson Pratt determined that 2 other people arrested by police, Kenwood McKenzie and Synovia Smith, were not properly before the court as no witnesses were listed on the court's docket. They were not arraigned and were released on their own recognizance. Meanwhile, Raquella Smith, Kevin Taylor, Patrice Roll, and Rhodesia Munnings denied charges of possession of forged documents and uttering forged documents at their arraignment. They were each granted $2,000 bail with 1 or 2 sureties and ordered to return for a trial on July 28th. And police are on the hunt for 2 men on Eleuthera after officers discovered $3.1 million worth of cocaine on that island. Assistant Commissioner of Police Solomon Cash saying the discovery came after police received intelligence that an aircraft would be landing in the country with suspected cocaine on board. As a result of the information, local law enforcement, along with officers from international law enforcement agencies, including the U.S. Coast Guard, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and the Drug Enforcement Administration, launched a comprehensive investigation concerning the aircraft. And shortly after midday on Sunday, the aircraft landed at Governor's Harbor's airstrip. As a result of the investigation, they observed 2 people leaving the aircraft. The aircraft was searched, but nothing. They were searched, but nothing was found in their possession. Cash says the 2 men were released after their search. The operation continued on to the night. Police are still asking for those 2 individuals to surrender themselves to police. Overseas, China has sharply reduced the number of directly elected seats in Hong Kong's legislature in a setback for the territory's already beleaguered democratic movement. The changes announced today after a 2-day meeting of China's top legislature. The legislature will be expanded to 90 seats and only 20 will be elected by the public. Currently, half of the 70-seat legislature, about 35 seats, is directly elected. The move is part of a 2-phase effort to rein in political protest and opposition in Hong Kong, which is part of China but has a more liberal political system as a former British colony. China imposed a national security law in Hong Kong last year and is following up this year with a revamp of the electoral process. The crackdown comes in the wake of months of pro-democracy protests in 2019 that brought hundreds of thousands to the streets and turned violent as the government resisted the movement's demands. China's top legislature, the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress, amended Hong Kong's constitution to pave the way for the changes. The Hong Kong government is now tasked with revising its electoral laws and holding an election. In the current 70-member legislature, voters elect half the members and the other half are chosen by constituencies representing various professions and interest groups. Many of the constituencies lean pro-Beijing, ensuring that wing, a majority, will have their say in the legislature. The new body will have 20 elected members, 30 chosen by the constituencies, and 40 by an election committee, which also chooses the city's leader. In sports, Bahamian Azara Roker is living proof that one doesn't have to go through the United States to excel in collegiate basketball and make it to the next level. The 6'7" former forward with the St. Francis Xavier University X-Men beginning the transitional period to the next part of his basketball career, obtaining a professional contract and eventually making it to the NBA. In his final season with the X-Men, Roker averaged 17.6 points, 13.2 rebounds, and 1.1 assists per game. While shooting 58.6% from the field, he was the team MVP, an All-Canadian second-team member, and All-Conference first-team All-Star player. The fifth-year forward is regarded as one who is super athletic, dominant around the basket, and a rebounding machine. He led the league in field goal percentage and rebounding in his fourth season. You can read more about him and his journey in today's Guardian Sports section. From the U.S., though, in the NCAA championships, Baylor beating Arkansas 81-72 for their first Final Four in 71 years. UConn reaching 13th straight Final Four, beating Baylor 69-67. That's on the women's side. Houston topping Oregon State, reaching the first Final Four since '84. And with the men, Baylor broiling the number 3 Razorbacks, ready for an even bigger game as the road to the Final Four continues. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your first look at weather for today, we've got a strengthening high-pressure ridge that continues to promote moderate to locally strong winds across the Bahamas through tonight. Beachgoers should continue to exercise caution along East Coast beaches due to the risk of rip currents. For the northwest Bahamas today, we are expecting variably cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions with a few light passing showers possible through tonight. Small craft cautions in effect, though. Winds east to southeast at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet. For the central and southeast Bahamas, partly mostly sunny, warm, and very breezy with a few light passing showers possible also through tonight. Small craft advisory in effect. Winds easterly at 15 to 25 knots, seas 5 to 8 feet. Temperature-wise, we are at about 75 degrees under partly cloudy skies right now in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
You're listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we are discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news, smart talk, all day, Guardian Radio 96.9.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Better. So why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Always on the go? Missed a show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
Your home is where your heart is, but it's more than just shelter. Your home is your workplace. Your home is school for your kids. Your home is even your happy place where you play. Get the best internet connection wherever you are with blazing fast speeds up to 300 megabits per second for as low as $99.99 and installation within 48 hours. Sign up for any of our fiber packages today and get a chance to win a free tablet in your second month. Call or WhatsApp 577-SHOP or 424-SHOP and sign up today. Conditions apply.
Meet Jackie. Jackie's a hard worker with a steady income, but she has a personal loan and multiple credit cards to pay off. To keep her account current, Jackie opted for a loan from Fidelity Bank to consolidate her debt into one monthly payment and earn interest on a built-in savings account. Be like Jackie. Call 356-7764 to book a complimentary financial coaching session. Fidelity also offers virtual assistance. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Gran, it was good to see you, but we've got to get home.
Yep, we've got to let the dog out.
Speaking of dogs, you won't believe who I saw the other day.
Who?
Honey.
Remember Anton, Jeanette's oldest boy, the one with the dogs?
With local claims managers, we pay your motor claims fast. We're like a goodbye at your granny's that doesn't take 30 minutes.
We
really got to get going.
So soon?
CG Atlantic Agents. Insurance, health, pensions, life. Good like that. Nassau Insurance Brokers and Agents Limited, trading as CG Atlantic Agents.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. 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 Wake up, wake up.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. We are joined this morning by Don Sargent. Good morning, Don.
Morning, Dwight.
Great to have you with us as always. Hope you're doing well.
Well, I'm managing, yes. I trust all is well with you, too. I see the numbers are going up. I trust you're being safe, and most of our listeners are isolating themselves a little bit more now.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's happening. Okay. But we do trust everyone is being safe. Yes. Isolation, I don't think we know the meaning of that word, most of us. But okay, we're going to get into that a lot this morning. That's going to be a big issue today.
So looking forward to another lockdown, that's why.
Right? Let's not even say that L word. No, not this weekend, for God's sake. But we do need people to be more responsible. Definitely. So you can join our conversation today on this matter. You can tweet us at morningblend969 or Facebook.com/morningblend969. Email us morningblend@nasguard.com, or you can text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796, 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Coming up this morning, a lot to get to this morning. We're going to be resuming our conversation with the forestry unit, talking about forestry restoration, what's entailed, what that means, what you can do to help with that, and why that's important. And water for all, healthy, safe water for all. It is something Rotary has been pushing, as this is Water and Sanitation Month, and World Water Day was just a few days ago. We're going to be talking about that. Then in 9 o'clock, are you necessarily supposed to be a homeowner? It seems to be, although I don't think we've necessarily defined it, Don, but it seems like it's one of the Bahamian dreams, right, to own your own home. But is it necessarily right for you? Is it okay if you rent for the rest of your life? We're going to talk about all of this. Who's this best for? Who's it not right for? And what you need to keep in mind and how you know the difference. All of that coming up this morning. So a lot to get to, but let's begin, though, with what's in the news. And in the news, big headline in the National Guardian, third wave appears likely. Health official says all the signs are there. That's Dr. Nakia Forbes. And there are other warnings in today's National Guardian as well. The Consultant Physician Staff Association, they're warning, advising, begging people not to be selfish and gather in crowds. Right? And it's scary. And then the Tribune, this is a classic, very interesting headlines often. COVIDiots, Don. COVIDiots. That's the big, giant headline. And it's a picture of a bunch of young people on top of each other at the beach. People were calling us yesterday about this huge party over the weekend at Cabbage Beach. So we've got the pictures now. And
wait, is this another incident of the beach people?
The beach people. Who are the beach
people? Do you
people?
remember last year when this first happened and we were, I think it was literally the last show, Dwight, that we were in studio at the same time.
Yeah.
Right?
And there
I think the AG came in and he talked about the beach people at the time and said, well, we're now going to be increasing restrictions. And then right after that show, we went into our first lockdown.
And everyone was blaming those beach people for months after that, even though they were, I suspect they were more scapegoats then. But sure, that would be terrible. But you can see their faces very clearly if you want to tell them how you feel about them, if that does happen. But let's see. They've got a couple people have masks. They're around their necks, though. Mm-hmm. They're not on their faces.
I guess they're trying to protect their throat. You know?
One girl has a mask. You can't get.
I don't know
from the sun. There's one girl has a mask on. Smart lady. And there's a guy standing by himself off on the side of the beach. He's not around anyone. He's got 60 feet between him and other people. He has a mask on.
He's being socially distancing. He's being responsible.
And he has a mask on. But all the people next to each other, no mask. So there you go. So yeah, we got it. All right. So let's talk about this third wave. What's happening? We're seeing numbers on certain islands. Harbor Island, they're concerned. Grand Bahama again. What's happening here? Did people let their guard down? And what does Dr. Forbes mean when she says, at this point, the vaccine can't help? Take a listen to this report from our Kyle Joaquin.
And there is an uptick in cases, a cluster related to travel.
Tighter restrictions may be on the way for Harbor Island as health officials keep a close eye on an uptick in COVID-19 cases, according to Director of Government's Infectious Diseases Program, Dr. Nakia Forbes, who said health officials have already made recommendations to the competent authority. The past 2 weeks have been very busy for the small island community, with hotels and private residences all booked out. Marinas seeing their fair share of yachts docked as well, and the blame is being placed on spring break.
We have made recommendations to help to flatten the curve there. And that will start with a team on the grounds as we monitor the cases closely. Health officials are doing their best and will be putting efforts in place to control that.
But the concern is not just on Bryland. Health officials have been noticing an increase in cases over the past few weeks, with 42 new cases confirmed on March 27th, 22 on New Providence, 14 on Grand Bahama, and 5 on Eleuthera, mainly Harbor Island. On March 26th, there were 34 confirmed cases. Forbes said unlike the second wave where clusters were traced back to the workplace, these new cases are all over, and it's concerning.
We're observing that in Grand Bahama, Abaco, and New Providence. And that is extra concerning because when there is a sustained increase in the number of cases, this could be an indication that we're on the cusp of a third wave.
As the country is still in the beginning phase of its 2-dose vaccine rollout, and now on the cusp of a third wave, as Forbes calls it, there's only so much the vaccine can do right now.
Prevention is the public health instructions. Vaccination is an important part of prevention now, but it takes time to get immune from vaccinations, and we're not there yet.
And as we head into a busy Easter weekend, Forbes says it's up to everyone to be responsible and protect themselves as a third wave is now taking hold of countries around the world.
If we look around the world, there are countries that are in large third waves and even fourth waves that have reluctantly had to put in place some serious restrictions. We don't want to have to get there.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Oh boy. Ominous warning there. You don't want to have to get there, but it's likely you wonder what recommendations they made to the competent authority. And,
you know.
Yeah.
You already know.
All right. So, this interesting thing said. So, spring break, connected to travel. It could be people coming here from other parts of the world, but it could be Bahamians. We've seen that with the dashboard. It says that some of these people have a history of travel, so Bahamians traveling to places, to hot spots, and bringing it back again, but also community spread. So we've got, as always, as we've always had, a lot of these factors, a number of different factors at play here. But the behaviors aren't changing. Behaviors aren't changing. People are still doing whatever they want, whenever they want, all the time.
But you got to play the song. When we go to commercial break, you got to play the song. You got to play the lockdown song.
Which one?
I don't know. You pick one.
Yeah, there's so many. But okay. So what do we do? What do we do? We don't want the lockdown. Nobody wants that. We don't want that for the Easter weekend. Last year, I'm not joking. I nearly went crazy. That weekend. Can't do it again. Not going to happen. What do we do to get people to understand that we're not out of this yet? Let's hear. Give us a call. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. All right? All right. What is this text all about? What is this? What? Okay.
I feel like, Dwight, it's almost like a foregone conclusion, or we're fighting the inevitability of, I don't know, because I've heard the story many times last year, and we were on air virtually the same circumstances, and the same things we didn't want to happen, we knew it was coming, and it happened. And I don't want to jinx it this time, but I'm just saying, it's very likely if we continue along this trend. No one wants to hear that.
No. I mean, come on. Our numbers yesterday, they aren't lockdown numbers. They're high. They're higher than they were, right? And we're seeing some growth, but are we really at that point? The problem is, of course, they're trying to head off any problems in 2 weeks from this weekend that we'd have a crisis. But my goodness, after all this time, there's got to be something in you, right, that would say, I'm going to be responsible. I will limit the number of people if I have to go out, limit the number of people I'm around. I'm not going to be piled up on top of people on the beach. I'm not, right? No? Okay, maybe not. But let's see, like yesterday, did we get the latest one from yesterday? This was from the 27th, so this is a couple days back. But okay, that's a big number. 22 cases for New Providence, 14 for Grand Bahama.
Yeah, as long as that, I think we're in a situation where if it's not consistently growing, right? Because I think one of these days we had yesterday, or the day before yesterday, we had 9 in Providence, right? So as long as the numbers don't continue to explode, like before, I would start off like 10, 11, then it went to 20-something and 30-something and 40-something. Then when it hit in the 50s, that's when the press conferences started to happen. And, you know, we're moving in the direction of the inevitability then of a lockdown. I don't want that personally. I think it's terrible. But last week, I think we were hitting in the 30s as well. So,
yeah.
I hope, and this is being honest with this, I really do hope that the numbers arrest themselves, or people arrest their behavior and get the numbers to come back down. I hope that the persons who have contracted coronavirus do, isolate themselves, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want it to be the insanity that we saw last year, where persons who knew that who had tested positive were still going into work or still going to the food store and infecting other people, or whatever the situation is. But yeah, as long as the numbers climb down, and if you see a spike, it's a spike. But as long as it's not a situation where we're seeing gradual growth, I don't think the extreme measures are going to come out again. But I do think we're going to see, probably it's going to take a bit longer to relax some restrictions, like how in Freeport they have till 11 p.m. That's not going to happen in Providence anytime soon.
Well, it sounds like it's not going to continue for Grand Bahama much longer either.
Yeah.
So
it's here's the hope in Mike. I would say that we don't go back into lockdown baby situation, and we go more into I don't even hope for that. I don't even want more restrictions, but I know that's a possibility or that's in the cards.
Yeah. Well, you remember that for this weekend, the curfew is until 4 a.m. for some mysterious reason, because Easter, people wake up early. Is that I don't know. What happens? What do we do? What, do you know? No? Is it one of these?
Repeat that again, right?
Remember now, the curfew over the weekend, we got a notice about that weeks ago, that instead of ending at 5 a.m., it ends at 4 for the weekend, for the Easter weekend. I was like, what's that all about? Is it one of the Orthodox churches? They do something special? They go diving in? Yeah, that's what it is? When they go in the water? Maybe that's one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sunrise. But that's late. Sunrise is 7 something now. So I don't understand that. You got to drive far. Okay. Sure. Anyway, so the latest dashboard, the one that we have for the 28th, the 9 cases in New Providence, 1 in Grand Bahama, 1 in Bimini, and Catkey, 2 in Eleuthera, 1 in the Berry Islands, 1 in Exuma, 15 cases in total. Okay. Wow. Boy, oh boy. All right. Calls are coming in. Lots of text messages as well. Let's hear what you have to say about this. What do we do to arrest this third wave and get people to understand we are still in the danger zone? Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Don.
Morning.
Morning, Mr. Bahamas. Most people don't understand that this country, we still under 10 o'clock curfew, 8 o'clock I'd be home sleeping, and most times, I get up early. Go to bed early, get up early. See, they look to me as
people know. People know. They just don't really care.
They just rebellious, man. Maybe people, some of us just rebellious. And what happened, and you and I know, the innocent will suffer for the guilty. See, the young people, they don't care about nothing. They ain't worried about nothing. All they do is worry about themselves and worrying about things. What should happen is the people should keep on doing their job. Anybody broke the thing, you find them. You keep finding them, They'll find the money. We see, right? See, the Bahamas, we was beating the curve, right? And Jamaica, those countries gone open too early, and you see what happened in there. See, sometimes, right, when you have your children, you got to tough love them, Sometimes you got to spring up that, you hate them. But some people hire to work. What they do, try to get these clubs. Have the policeman car park and the bus park all these clubs. You see, because we can't afford to let a handful of people stop crime with this country. People still go on the way. People still need to help them family and do things, man. So whoever breaking the law, just do what you have to do, man. And time to take my call, my brother.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. All right. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Don.
Hi. How's it going?
Morning.
The first thing that we need to do is suspend campaigning. Suspend campaigning. Second thing you need to do is that instead of having the leader of the opposition, the prime minister, video pop up on Facebook and YouTube, we need to run a lockdown campaign. Whereas every time you go watch a YouTube video, we give you the COVID instructions which you need to wear when you go to these events, or if you don't wear these, this is going to happen. And we show the empty streets of the Providence and Grand Bahama.
That's
and maybe individuals will get the message then, because they passed an event Saturday across from Sanders Beach in an establishment where they had a whole train going on, literally a short train with no mask, no social distancing at all, which is terrifying. And all I can hear in my mind is that song "Lockdown Baby" playing.
Wow. How does a short train work? What do they do?
So they line up behind each other, and they put their hands on each other's shoulders, and they go around in a circle.
Okay.
And someone holds the shot bottle and gives each person a shot.
Oh, okay. Important. Nice. Okay.
Wow.
All right. That's
Dwight, it's starting to sound like natural selection is just, doing its thing in this country again.
Oh, dear. Were they outside at least? You said they were outside? He's gone. Oh, but okay. Sounds like he was. He said he was driving by his side.
I don't know, man. I've seen some stuff too. So I've seen some parties, and it just made me wonder to myself, like, why? And I don't know, man, Dwight. Like I said, natural selection. I guess people just want to return to a sense of normalcy so quickly, but it's like we're not there yet.
Right.
And let's not forget we don't have enough vaccines, so we still have loads of skeptical behaviors. Although I don't know what the criteria is to get a vaccine anymore, because it seems like anybody can get one. Anyway, but this whole thing about just like have parties every other week, go get bursted with a pool party, go do this, go do that.
Every other week, Don?
Every day. I've heard music in my neighborhood.
I was going to say every week,
day.
but yes, every day you can find a party somewhere in New Providence. Absolutely.
Is the stupid coming back, or did it never leave?
Never, ever. Good morning, caller. You're on there.
Mr. Strachan, how are you doing?
Hi, good morning.
You're on your guest. Mr. Strachan.
Hi.
You know what's really happening, right? You know fatigue fitting in, right? You know it, right?
Okay.
No, because, all right, then, COVID-19 police. I was talking to them, right? And they tell me, they say this on air now. They saying they overwork. They saying they underappreciated.
Overworked from what?
No, pardon me?
What are they overworked from?
Pardon me?
What are they overworked from?
What you mean by Mr. Strachan? You want to see every night, 7 o'clock, they leave from Cambridge Police Station. They, listen carefully now. Like I said before, they tell me say this now.
Why don't they say it?
Pardon me?
Why don't they say it?
Well, because first of all, they say they underpaid.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. Okay? They saying national security and the minister forcing them give people a ticket for nothing. Seriously speaking.
Well, how could that be? Nothing. We see it every day, all the foolishness going on. There's a lot going on. And some people probably should be getting more tickets. So I don't know.
Give me a second, please.
So what? I mean, what are we talking about them for? I mean,
give me a second.
the place is a mess, Dave. A lot.
Just give me a second, please. First of all, I don't party. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't go in large crowds. But see, just be careful. We had a thing saying a loose goat don't know how a tired goat feels. Mr. Strachan, you was never locked down. So you could say these things. You was never locked down. You have a pass to go on the road, even though you don't go. But your mindset is you got to move. You could move. So I'm trying to say I'm not being breaking law, but you was never locked down. Mm-hmm. Certain people are doing this lockdown. They can go nowhere. People first, and then another big story. No, we need to agitate. Why are these police officers every month giving people tickets for nothing? The law say if you can't show it, you have 3 months. Hello.
Yeah. I remember.
Why are these police still giving people tickets for unlicensed cars? Now I can understand insurance. The bottom line. The payment people are fatigued. They are fatigued. Believe it or not, too.
So what should happen? We should just...
No, Mr. Strachan. The bottom line, everybody should wear their mask on the video rules straight up. But the bottom line, when people get treated bad from day one... let me give you an example. Just yesterday, I see a whole restaurant open between Fidelity Bank and the police station. They dining inside. You know what I'm saying?
Some of the restaurants require you to have a test.
No. I'm trying to say the restaurant require that. There's certain people, and people like me and you, we are forced to dine outside. So the bottom line, if people pass over restaurants, see Peter, Tom, and Jerry mingling with no mask on, and you can't go to the beach. I mean, it's wrong, but the bottom line, people, we better know because they were treated unfairly from day one. That's all it is now.
Okay.
Mr. Strachan.
Yes.
If everybody locked down and everybody have to stay inside, everybody can behave though. But people seeing John going out somewhere, you can't go nowhere, you can rebel. That's human nature. You see what I'm saying? But I'm trying to say, you was never locked down, Mr. Strachan, so you can't compute with average man, you know. You was never locked down, Mr. Strachan, like it or not.
Well, I was going to work. I didn't have any place to go to party either.
What do I do? God bless you, you smart, and you put the right profession. You was getting paid every month or every week. Okay? It ain't your fault, but people was see Mr. Strachan, understand Mr. Strachan. You was never locked down. That's what I try to tell you. So you don't know how people feel. That's what I try to say. You know, nothing against you.
Okay.
Have a nice day, okay?
All right. So that doesn't solve the problem. So that means we're going to be like this forever. That's just going to be...
We also shouldn't forget, lockdown isn't just about you being unable to go anywhere. Mm-hmm. Also, a lot of essential workers weren't even able to go to the food stores when they wanted to go to the food store because those were restricted.
That's right.
A lot of shops were closed. Basically nothing was open some days at all. So you still had to go to work. and continue like everything was normal, but nothing was open.
So the bottom
and
line, to quote Dave, is that everyone's going to get COVID because apparently some people are jealous, some people are frustrated, and some people are just
I don't
intent
think
to
that's the
rebel.
case. I think people are just literally going about their lives like ordinary. Like, we have been in a very stressful situation for an entire year. And it is, I wouldn't even say people are blowing off steam. People are taking it as, because I wouldn't use the word arrested the situation, because things calmed down for a while. And then you saw the news about the vaccine and stuff. People have been letting their guard down. And this isn't something that's unique to the Bahamas. It's been happening in New Zealand, who just went back into another lockdown after I think like 3 people, they had community spread there, supposedly from a doctor. And they've been on lockdown, not lockdown, but like restricted travel for over a year now. We're all over Europe. You're seeing the same thing happen. You're seeing cases spike and explode all over the United States. Obviously, in the key hotspots, in places such as Texas. And it's not like it's alarming or anything. It's that people letting their guard down, because all this news and stuff about we're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel or vaccines are here. People take that as, okay, cool, I go outside now. Go on with my life. But I'm just saying, like, we still need to be very cautious about the situation. And I'm not saying this from my own personal perspective. I'm saying this because nobody wants another lockdown. It is not an economically smart decision, but unfortunately, it happens when the numbers get too high.
My heart is already pounding, just the thought of it. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Okay, let's take this call. Then we've got a lot of your text messages to get to. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning to your co-worker. Dwight, you have a lot of static so I get to my point in your radio.
What are you listening on?
On Flow.
Okay, you got to talk to BTC about that.
Okay,
We're getting
so
complaints about that, so
listen.
yeah, that's not us.
Listen, this country cannot go to another lockdown. You just got to live with the facts of the corona, because the economy is already hurt already. I am affected by the economy, and we just can't go through it. We just got to live with it and wait with the vaccine and wait whatever coming. But let's get this economy going, and we need to live in this economy. That's all I have to say on that. Have a good day, guys.
Okay, all right. Well, got to appeal to our fellow Bahamians. Fellow Bahamians, please. All right. This one says, okay, here we go. Lots of messages. Morning, gents. Dwight, how you get so gullible, eating everything the government feeds you without question? You know this COVID thing makes no sense. You know that, babe. What part of it makes no sense? Which part? You don't believe the numbers? I see another text saying that as well. The numbers go up.
It's a pandemic, Dwight.
So, you know, I might be inclined to say things like that if I were not really paying attention. But I know far too many people who've had COVID, right? And especially when the numbers were flying high, all around me, there were people with COVID.
Same.
Right? Now that the numbers are lower, I don't know too many people with COVID. Right? Now, when the numbers started going up a little bit, I heard of people who knew somebody who had COVID. But that time when we had that real lull, nobody knew nothing was happening. We can see it around us. We know that there are people getting sick. We know that there are people who've been traveling and they come back and they start feeling not so well. Right? So I truly don't believe they're lying about this. These are our friends. You might not like the politicians, but the people who work in the Ministry of Health, these are people, these are our relatives and friends. This is a small country. We all know them. They're not going to be lying about this. If anything, the numbers are much higher, and we know that. The numbers are much higher than what we've been seeing. So when they're going up and they're saying 20-something, you could comfortably double that, and that could be what's really happening. And when they were really high months back, they were even higher in reality. So you don't like it, and nobody likes what's happening here. But I don't have any doubt that there aren't sick people in this country. Now, whether you agree that we need to be having curfews and lockdowns to deal with the situation, okay, that's fine. We're not all going to come to agreement on that one. But COVID is real.
I don't look forward to a 7 p.m. curfew again, right?
No. And restrictions on Saturday and Sunday. No, we're not going to. That's not going to. We can't do it. But you doubting that this is real, I don't know what's happening with you. I really don't. But I know people. I've experienced it. It's terrible. It's hard. It's scary. And we know people who've died. So let's stop that. Let's stop that. Here's another text. I'm going to the liquor store and food stores today. I smell lockdown coming. Oh, boy. Mm-hmm.
That texter is smart, clever, and savvy person.
This one says mass. I guess that's for the thing. Well, what time is the mass? What time? It can't. Like 6 a.m.? Okay. All right, that's... The curfews are only 4 a.m. on Sunday morning, not the other days. Oh, is it? I thought it was more than Sunday. I'll look back. But anyway, one of the days it's 4 a.m. This one here. Yeah, I read that already. Yeah, across from Saunders Beach is outside, but the number of people that were there negates the fresh air. That's the main road with police passing and doing nothing. There's also a club that is packed every night. It's crazy. I don't want to lock down, but if that's the only way to make people stay home, oh well.
I think in the instance of businesses, I think, at least from what I remember, Dwight, they increased the fines on those things. And they have fined several businesses for lack of social distancing and overcrowding. We've had a nightclub, which name I'm not going to call, where there's an infamous video of persons being pulled out of the nightclub and things being shut down. And I was told, what we all saw in the papers, the nightclub got fined. Several other businesses found themselves in similar circumstances. So, like, the mechanisms are there. Maybe, I don't know what's going on, to be quite honest with you, because I see it too. I see there's some places that I drive past in the evening times on my way home, and I know they're nightclubs, and they're always booked up. People spilling into the streets, how much people are in there. And it's like, it ain't rocket science.
All right. Oh, yeah. So Saturday night, 11 p.m. to Sunday morning, 4 a.m. Okay.
You need to go for a 4 a.m. jog, Dwight.
Like some other people. Yeah.
Soak up all that time.
This, I agree with Dawn. I do think may the strongest survive mentality exists, especially in millennials and Gen Z. The government will have to do what it's been doing, which is making the decisions that are necessary to save lives and livelihoods. That's really interesting. I in the Miami stations, they were having, of course, you saw that, the big problems with the spring breakers a few weeks back. And they interviewed a few of them. They really are not sensible people. One young guy, if you get COVID, you're stupid. As he was surrounded by his buddies. It's like, no masks.
I'm assuming he's a Gen Z and not
a
millennial.
Oh, he's very young. He was like 19. He was 19, maybe 20. But if you get COVID, you're stupid. And like, okay.
Yeah, this is why natural selection is the thing, And then when we had last spring break, similar things that happened in Miami, where they interviewed persons and they had said, "I'm not gonna get COVID," and a lot of the spring breakers that they interviewed ended up testing positive, and were all over social media getting shamed. And it was like, oh look, the stupid's on display.
Well, that's why the Tribune has COVIDiots.
Yeah. And the thing is, I just in hindsight, obviously they'll figure it out for themselves that it's not. It's really not worth contracting COVID, putting other people's lives at risk, especially your parents, because if you're usually that young, you're broke, and especially in this situation with this pandemic, you're living with somebody else, maybe even your parents. You're putting those people at risk when you go and do something incredibly stupid.
Exactly. That's what the doctors are saying. Don't be selfish. Don't gather in crowds. Yeah, you may be fine. You might because you're young and healthy. But when you go around your mother, your father, they have diabetes or high blood pressure or whatever.
Right. When you talked about the persons who spoke down on the situation and trying to make it seem like it didn't happen. Like I know of a case of someone who's a family member of someone close to me whose grandmother died because she contracted COVID. Whether or not it was a fault or a result of work, I'm not sure. But she contracted COVID, went home, gave it to her grandmother, and her grandmother passed away, who she was living with.
Yeah.
And, your whole family has to deal with that. And I wouldn't want to be in a situation where a family member of mine passes away and I could literally trace their death to some of the decisions that I've made. And in these cases, these aren't people going to work, and these people who just literally unnecessary risk going out trying to have a good time and partying. And it's like, but at the same time, it makes you wonder, aren't we broke? Don't we usually complain like, oh, we ain't waking and this and that and money tight? But why are we always having these parties? For people that's so broke, we always seem to find money for liquor. I don't understand. Maybe I'm missing something in the picture head, Dwight. I don't know.
Priorities, Don. Priorities. That's how it works. Let's take some more calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Good morning, caller. Nope. Okay, let's take the other. Good morning. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? No. Okay. Let's go back to the text line. This person says, how come the good doctor never tells us how the new uptick is being detected? Is it from people trying to travel and getting positive tests, or is it from people falling sick and reporting to the hospital? Because I believe there are just a ton of people that are healthy carriers. Well, we've known that from the beginning. What's your point? What's your point? And okay, if it's the former, then what? If it's the latter, then what? Okay, if it's healthy people, then you need to be very afraid. Right? Because you might be the weak link, and you might be the one that gets sick while you were hanging around your healthy-looking friends, right? At least if they're sick, you could, stand back, right? But what's your point in all of that from the beginning? It's healthy people, healthy carriers, and not so healthy. It's been a year. You know this, right? Don't you? All right. Another one. We've been listening to this behave yourself nonsense so long, we are believing it. What changed over the past 2 months? More people crossed the border? Diagler says so. Bet your bottom dollar they brought the COVID variant. The telltale sign is the rise in hospitalizations. At the next press conference, ask how many people in the tourism industry were infected, how many of their relatives were infected, and how many relatives died since January. Border crossings. Okay, so more people traveling. What do you want? You want us to lock down the border again? Okay. When was the last time you heard someone having the flu? How do you know those people did not have influenza? Because they took a COVID test. That's how they took a COVID test.
Are we still doing these
I don't
arguments,
know.
man?
Is this a March 2020 rerun? What's going on today?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. It feels like deja vu.
I don't understand what's going on.
The same time last year.
What is this what teachers experience in school? They got to teach the same thing over and over again? What?
We're in the Twilight Zone.
Oh, my God.
We're literally both in a nightmare repeating. But
No wonder the grades are what they're like. Because you're not getting it. Well, this explains everything. And then we should just play music. Let's take this call, and then we'll go to the break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. Good morning to your call.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
This thing started this year. Basically, not all the blame. The politicians start this nonsense, Prime Minister, leader of opposition, all over the place. Listen, no one has been to my place yet, campaigning, and they ain't coming. I mean, this just don't make any sense. They're traveling in large contingents all over the place. Then you going into people's homes, you having people up. And so people is of the opinion that COVID is gone because of the behavior of our politicians. Then on top of that, you have poison. I saw on Eyewitness News, they had Women's Day. I ain't never seen that. Like, everybody in the place, no mask on, everybody else talking to each other. Listen, we got to get this. We got to understand. Then you have the churches. Some of the churches having conventions with 70 and 80,000 people. Come on, man. We got to get these priorities right. In addition to that, you have persons on the street who believe that it's okay. So they having they parties, they walking around. There's carefree. I just had to move up a shop yesterday because people came in with no mask, etc. Listen, you see, everything starts, if you don't lead by example, you can cause problems. This politician thing, this could wait, man, politics is due in 2022. We need to deal with this pandemic first. We are not prioritizing. We should have deal with the pandemic. This rush to have politics all over the place is just complete nonsense. In the United States, it was different. That was an election year. We have until 2022. Can't we grow up and understand that you have to deal with this present pandemic first? When are we going to have some sense and understand that COVID hasn't gone anywhere? We only got about 20,000 vaccines. That hasn't even been distributed yet. Come on, man, please. You know, we are not going nowhere until we understand and take it serious. And it has to start with the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition and all the other parties that are involved in this campaign initiative.
Yeah.
Cancel it until the end of May.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
We don't need nobody coming around us in this kind of environment. Look at the way our Biden campaign last year.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you very much. That would definitely help. Or our prime minister could say, hey, I'm serious. The election is not going to be until May next year. So everybody chill out and let's fix this place right now and get over this hurdle with the coronavirus, with the COVID-19.
Hey, Dwight.
Would he ever say that?
Do you remember when they were campaigning last election cycle? And they were like, we're going to have fixed term limits. We're going to have fixed days for elections.
I'm blocking it because clearly that was a dream. So I didn't.
Well, they never promised it, Dwight. You remember? Did the FNM really promise that on the campaign trail? Anyway. But I don't know. We wouldn't have been in this situation if they actually did it, because they did promise to have fixed election dates.
Yep.
Which was something I was really looking forward to.
Everybody.
That's it. You know.
But oh well. Here we are. All right. Let's take a break. We'll be back with more. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Remember COVID-19. World economies put to a test. This virus brought so much unrest. Folks, they look to the sky for intervention from on high. COVID-19, COVID-19.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
At Alive! That's right! Devices, earbuds, tablets, and so much more with crazy slash prices. Pay close attention to our social media pages. Visit any Alive location or visit bealive.com for the best deals on some of your favorite devices and accessories. That's March Madness going on now at Alive. Believe in best.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
Time for your Morning Blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. Here's what's happening at this hour. We're seeing some heavy traffic on Gladstone Road, northbound lane, heading towards JFK Drive over Mile Butler Highway. It's looking a little bit better for you. In the northbound lanes, though, you're going to be seeing traffic building and getting heavy the closer you get to Tonic Williams-Darling Highway. Elsewhere, we've got pockets along Blue Hill Road, mainly the northbound lanes. If you're around Cowpen Road, if you're around St. Vincent, and especially Carmichael Road. And further north, just north of Soldier Road, as you get closer to the Independence Drive roundabout, you'll be seeing heavy traffic in the northbound lanes. Elsewhere, not looking so bad, except for East Street and Robinson Road, some congestion at that intersection there. And Robinson Road, the closer you get to the Mall Marathon, so that's Robinson and Marathon Road and East-West Highway. And Prince Charles Drive and Foxhill Road. Elsewhere, looking pretty good so far on this Tuesday morning. That's your Morning Blend Traffic Alert, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. And it's time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Rev, Cable Bahamas. Here's what's going on. We've got a strengthening high-pressure ridge that continues to promote moderate to locally strong winds across the Bahamas through tonight. Beachgoers should continue to exercise caution along East Coast beaches due to the risk of rip currents. For the Northwest Bahamas, today we are looking at variably cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions with a few light passing showers. And that should continue through tonight. Smoke-craft caution in effect for the Northwest Bahamas. For the Central and Southeastern Islands today, partly to mostly sunny, warm, and very breezy with a few light passing showers possible through tonight. 75 degrees right now in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 70 Fahrenheit, 20. In your extended outlook, high-pressure ridging will continue to support pleasant conditions while gradually retracting eastward. A cold front is expected to enter the extreme northwest Bahamas by Thursday evening, and the front will usher in seasonably cooler temperatures, strong winds, and hazardous marine conditions as we head into the holiday weekend. So for Wednesday, variably cloudy, warm, and a bit breezy with a few stray showers, especially in the northwest Bahamas. Mostly sunny, warm, and breezy with a stray shower or two in the central and southeast Bahamas. Thursday, variably cloudy and warm with a few light passing showers, becoming variably cloudy, cool, and breezy with isolated showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms, mainly in the extreme northwest Bahamas by Thursday evening as that front pushes through. And we are expecting noticeably cooler temperatures for Good Friday and throughout the Easter holiday weekend. That's your morning blend. Weather check. Weather check brought to you by Rev, and basketball fans, you can sign up for Rev NBA League Pass absolutely free. Call 601-8992 or email trio@cablebahamas.com to sign up. That's Rev, you and us together. We're back after these messages. Stay with us.
RBC and Visa bring you a benefit as unique as you to enjoy Disney Plus. Get 2 months of the all-new Disney Plus streaming subscription on us if you have an RBC Visa Platinum card. Learn more by visiting www.rbc.com/Caribbean/Disney. Reimagine new ways to bank better.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Basketball is back, baby, and so is NBA League Pass, only with Rev Trio. Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free, along with incredible prizes, including a brand new 50-inch smart TV, NBA gear, and more. With tons of prizes and gear, signing up for Trio is the best on- and off-court move this year. Just call 601-8992 or visit www.rev.bs/promotions/trio. Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Traveling around the world, infecting men, women, boy, and girl, forcing folks to quarantine. I'm talking about COVID.
We're back here with Wording Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Don Sargent talking about what's in the news. Let's take this. Is that? Yeah? No? Okay, let's take that call quickly, and then I want to get to the folks who are charged with the fake COVID tests. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
God bless morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, pardon my sore throat. JT here.
Hi, how's it going?
Why, bless you, thank God for life. I just wanted to quickly state in regards to your previous discussions in respect to this campaigning during this height of the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
It is my understanding, and I heard C. Alan Johnson speak to it some months ago, that the reason the Prime Minister seems to be ringing the bell early, even though he's denying it, is that there are some taxes that are going to be levied on the Bahamian people, and that the government is endeavoring to have an election called early so that they can get the elections out of the way before they have to, because from the World Bank and other places, before they have to hike up the taxes on we the Bahamian people. So before they get kicked in the butt by the backlash and the taxes, they seem to be slowly slipping their way into the election cycle so that after the bell has been rung and we've cast our votes, then I suppose they can then drop the hammer on us as far as taxes is concerned. That is my understanding as to why all of this campaign electioneering is going on now, or election campaigning is going on now. And if that is true, that is wicked. And the fact that we still have a health pandemic going on, I mean, the Prime Minister being the company, when are we all going to call for the Prime Minister to resign? Because he's breaking every law that he's put out there. You understand what I'm saying?
I hear you, yeah.
Thank you, man. Thanks.
Okay, thanks a lot. Hey, that's what they do. That's what they do, right? After an election, that's when they raise taxes, implement new taxes. That's when they
not
always...
necessarily right after, Dwight.
Right
Remember
after.
how Keyless took a year? He said that
That's right after, Don. That's right after. I mean, plus that first budget's not theirs.
That's mostly
so,
true, yeah.
So they come in, we couldn't believe what we met when we came in here. Oh, my God, they were spending like drunken sailors, so now we have to raise their taxes. Yeah, great. Likely story. We could write your speeches for you. We know how you all do it. Boy, anyway. All right, so... But to JT's point, hey, we're all hearing those type things. We know what's coming. We know that, right? We know that the VAT. Don't get used. Don't think, oh, you've got to calculate it now, 12%. I know how it works. Yeah. No, don't get used to it. All those poor restaurants with their signs up there with the 12% included. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, 9 people charged with possessing fake COVID tests, and some of them who were tested after they were arrested were found to be negative. What's going on here? Take a listen to this report from our Jared Higgs.
That 17-year-old girl was the first to be escorted into court on Monday afternoon, and hours later, with her aunt by her side, she pleaded guilty to possessing an utter RT-PCR test from Doctors Hospital, knowing that it was fraudulent. That juvenile was charged alongside 24-year-old Samuel Colebrook. He also pleaded guilty to both counts. He and the juvenile girl will return to court on April 1st and were released on their own recognizance until sentencing. 2 other defendants out of the 9 who were charged also pleaded guilty. 40-year-old Scott Davis admitted to producing the fake tests to COVID ambassadors at LPIA as he prepared to board a flight to South Andros. That decision proved extra costly because not only was Davis arrested, but his child was also taken into social services custody. With his guilty plea on record, Davis was granted $3,000 bail, and he returns to court on April 7th to be sentenced. Ed Roy Roll also pleaded guilty to possessing and uttering a phony negative COVID test and will return to court later this week to be sentenced. Several others were charged, including 40-year-old Exuma resident Rakila Smith. She pleaded not guilty to both counts and was released on $2,000 bail with the requirement that she sign in at the Georgetown police station before 6 p.m. every Friday. Kevin Taylor from Munnings also faced the 2 charges and pleaded not guilty. Magistrate Andrew Forbes freed them on $2,000 bail, and they'll be joined by Smith for the start of trial on July 28th. While those defendants got bail from Magistrate Forbes after pleading not guilty, one of the accused women was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections after she pleaded not guilty before Chief Magistrate Joy Ann Ferguson Pratt. 25-year-old Janae Jolly wasn't represented by an attorney, and her bail decision will come on April 1st at noon. 2 other people were also brought before the court to face charges related to the fake COVID tests. However, Ferguson Pratt refused to proceed after pointing out that their dockets didn't list any accusers. That man and woman were released until April 15th, when they're expected to return to court. Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Jared Higgs.
All right, this is perplexing, sad situation as well. That we'd have to go this far, and most of these people are likely not. And This is a good text here. It's the same thing I'm thinking. What should happen is the introduction of free mass testing, that you should be able to get a free test somewhere I believe that you can at one of the government clinics, but it's not easy. It's a long process. It takes a while.
I'm full with that.
Yeah. And so many people would rather pay, and you get your results that day in many cases. But if you go through the other means, I've heard people who took the test, they were ill, very sick. They have never heard from the people. They never got the results. But it was clear that you had it. You know what I mean? So what's that all about? But yeah, so what are we going to do here? This is going to become a thing. Again, the vaccine is free, but the tests are not free.
Yeah, it's also the fake natural selection. That's all I can say, man. Just people just I don't know. Just don't do that. It's stupid.
But there is something else going on here. That when in one of those cases, the person was trying to get to Andros, right? So you need an RT-PCR test, the $100 and something test, which used to be $200 and something, remember? But $100 and something test to go to Andros, but you only need a rapid antigen test, the $30 test to go to the United States. That seems a bit odd. No, why are we doing that?
The reason I say it is because is it worth basically getting fined over? If you're found out, is the consequences whatever. I guess everybody's different. Some people like to take penitentiary chances. I don't know. I just don't think that's smart to try and forge one of those things. And it's going to set off a chain reaction. Other people are going to get the idea.
It's not smart. It's not smart, but we do create situations where people feel, sadly, people feel the need that they're prepared to take the chance, as opposed to
unfortunately,
to save
yes,
some money.
We do create those situations, and tests is something I looked at too. And it was like, why is it cheaper for me to take tests to go to the States than it is to travel to my own country? But I while I believe that, I also don't think this is smart. I don't think it's a good financial decision either. No. Because if you didn't have the money for the test, you surely will not have the money to get fined.
That is true.
And if they bring about any other increase in fines or any adjustments to the emergency orders due to these types of cases, the risk is only going to get higher and worse. And there's going to be people now keeping their eyes out to see whose tests are fake or whatever the situation is. So I'm just saying, it's really ill-advised for you to do that. I understand the stress the situation with the increased cost of travel, especially if you live on one of these islands and you find yourself in the Providence right now. Maybe we should look into changing the test, but I don't think forging is a smart idea.
Absolutely not. No. Yeah. This person says, I wonder if they paid for the fake test, like the fake sick slip. If so, it's really costing them quite a bit in the end. Yes. So a bus driver molests a teen girl on the bus and he's fined $200, but people with fake COVID tests are sent to jail. What the? Is this real? By the way, no government can put more taxes on us now. It will obliterate the economy. Is this a real place? Well, that's all speculation there, that last part there, right? But still, don't be surprised if after the election. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Let's take this call quickly and then we got to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Dwight, how you doing?
Doing well.
Great. Good morning to your guest. Dwight, I try to take a sabbatical on calling these shows, but I do not like the politics period. But Dwight, I had to call in this morning. This is an experience that I will explain. I from Exuma, and those folk, they all from Exuma. I returned from Exuma yesterday morning. And Dwight, I am not going to talk politics. I don't believe in it. I don't like it. And I don't believe in the spirit of entitlement. Must be some adjustment on protocol. I believe in the protocol, but there have to be some. Let me explain, Dwight. Dwight, for me to leave here to see my mother, I seen her last in July. It cost me over $400, me alone.
Wow.
I am waking. Dwight, my cousin, in Freeport, she leave Freeport, connect to Nassau, to go to Georgetown. It cost her over $800.
My God.
My next cousin who lived in Abaco, her and her daughter, her mother passed, and she had to attend the funeral. Her mother passed. It cost her over $1,500.
Wow.
Dwight, to return yesterday, they had some snag again with the whatever test it is to get back. Dwight, please allow me. Please allow me to say thanks to the Monroe family who assist us in helping us in the course. I want to say thanks to Captain Jed Monroe. I want to say thanks to Captain Emmett Monroe and the whole entire Monroe family. Dwight, I know that I am making a couple of dollars, and I don't expect the spirit of entitlement, but there have to be a better way. My mother's 87, and if she takes sick, Dwight, it's going to cost me over $400 to go to Exuma to see my mother. They're going to have to find a way to make some adjustment to make it easy on domestic travel. I experience it. I have all my database. I can get my... Listen, let me just back up. A friend of mine, we all Exumians like home. We attend Christmas celebration every year. He have a family of 5. To get his ticket, COVID test, and everything, it cost him more than $2,500 to go to Exuma, Dwight. A family of 5.
That's crazy.
I don't know what's going on. They're going to have to. It cost me less to go to the U.S.
Wow.
Yesterday I returned. I experienced that. I heard about the situation, but I was busy. But I want to say thanks to the Monroe family who assist us in the cost of the expense. And Captain Jed Monroe, Captain Emmett Monroe, we will always remember you, sir. Thank you, Dwight.
Okay, thanks a lot. Yeah, that has to be addressed, and we're going to have more. Sadly, although this is not the way to do it, but we're going to have more of this type of situation because people just cannot afford to do this, and they're desperate, and they're not going to think that, well, if I get caught, this will cost me more. But oh boy, this text here: it cost my husband $500 to go to Crooked Island. Plus, they're now charging $25 for you to send in the results for the COVID test. Another one: the government should find a way to supplement testing, no doubt, but the rapid antigen test is a great screening method. I believe it's one of the reasons why their numbers are increasing in the U.S., I guess you're saying. Let's stick with the gold standard, and the government should supplement that. Okay. We got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about forestry restoration, what you can do to help. We're talking with the forestry unit. That's coming up on Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Infecting men, women, boy, and girl, causing folks to quarantine. I'm talking about COVID-19.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best-kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit Comfort Suites PI.
Gran, it was good to see you, but we've got to get home.
Yep, we've got to let the dog out.
Speaking of dogs, you won't believe who I saw the other day. Who?
Honey.
Remember Anton, Jeanette's oldest boy, the one with the dogs?
With local claims managers, we pay your motor claims fast. We're like a goodbye at your granny's that doesn't take 30 minutes.
We really got to get going.
So soon?
CG Atlantic Agents. Insurance, health, pensions, life. Good like that. Nassau Insurance Brokers and Agents Limited, trading as CG Atlantic Agents.
Stay a step ahead of technology with certainty and support from Custom Computers. Our know-how team is here to help you zero in on your next big tech purchase, finding solutions that take your productivity to the next level using only the best and most reliable brands. With 4 stores all across Nassau on East Bay, West Bay, Old Fort Bay, and Palmdale, there's no stopping you from stepping up your tech. Reach out to us at 396-1100. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Your home is where your heart is, but it's more than just shelter. Your home is your workplace. Your home is school for your kids. Your home is even your happy place where you play. Get the best internet connection wherever you are with blazing fast speeds up to 300 megabits per second for as low as $99.99 and installation within 48 hours. Sign up for any of our fiber packages today and get a chance to win a free tablet in your second month. Call or WhatsApp 577-SHOP or 424-SHOP and sign up today. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. And now at 8:21, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here's what's happening. We've got a strengthening high-pressure ridge that continues to promote moderate to locally strong winds across the Bahamas through tonight. Beachgoers should exercise caution along East Coast beaches due to the risk of rip currents. For today, for the northwest Bahamas, look for variably cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions with a few light passing showers. Through tonight, small craft caution in effect. For the central and southeast Bahamas, partly to mostly sunny, warm, and very breezy with a few light passing showers possible through tonight. A small craft advisory in effect. 77 right now in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. In extended outlook, high pressure ridging will continue to support pleasant conditions while gradually retracting eastwards. A cold front then is expected to move into the extreme northwest Bahamas by Thursday evening. The front will usher in seasonably cooler temperatures, strong winds, and hazardous marine conditions behind it. So for Wednesday, look for variably cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions with a few stray showers possible in the northwest Bahamas, mostly sunny, warm, and breezy with a stray shower or two in the central and southeast Bahamas. Thursday, variably cloudy and warm with a few light passing showers, becoming cloudy, cool, and breezy with isolated showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms, mainly in the extreme northwest Bahamas by Thursday evening. That front's going to move through by Good Friday and cool things down quite a bit. Highs in the mid to upper 70s only. In the daytime, back down into the 60s at night until at least the middle of next week. That's your Morning Blend weather check brought to you by Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us. And in your Morning Blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. In your real-time traffic, again, we've got a lot of people on holiday already. A number of schools closed, and so we're seeing things be a bit more manageable on the streets. Your hotspots, northbound lane heading towards JFK Drive, you're going to be seeing heavy traffic there. And Samara Butler Highway, much better than it normally is, but still heavy traffic in the northbound lanes heading towards Tondy Williams Darling Highway. JFK Drive is that's Blue Hill Road, northbound, heading towards the Independence Drive roundabout, just north of Soldier Road. You'll be seeing that there, and some pockets along Blue Hill Road as well. And east-west highway, as you get closer to that intersection with the Robinson Road and Marathon Road, you'll be seeing the traffic building up there. Elsewhere, not looking so bad, just at the major intersections this morning. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
My beautiful islands. I tell you, if the good Lord never goes on holiday, tell me why.
And we are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Don Sargent. And we're just coming off Forestry Awareness Week, and we are very pleased to have back with us, we'll have with us the Forestry Unit, and with us today, Senior Forest Officer Injiri Miller. Injiri Miller, welcome to the show. Great to have you with us. Is Ingeria with us? Yes. Got the mic? Nope. Yep. Nope. Mic. I got to unmute your mic for us, please. Okay, there we go. I hear something. We dropped off. Ingeria. Okay, we're going to sort that out there.
Oh, my.
Oh.
No, that's me.
Okay, Ingeria Miller, we're going to work that out. We're getting her together. Okay, we're going to sort that out. And we're going to be talking about a follow-up to what we talked about last week, but just more on restoration, forest restoration, and what we can do to help with that and why it's so important as we continue. It just seems to be chopping down trees left, right, and center, and all the time. Next, so we're going to reconnect with Ingeria in a bit. Oh, okay, we have her now? Nope. Okay. All right, so we're going to sort that out and figure out what's going on. Yeah. So, okay. All right. Tom, we can talk while we wait to get back with Ingeria this morning. All right. Let's read some of the text messages that came in. This is about what we were talking about before, about COVID. Follow the money, and we will see why COVID-19 is here to stay. It's a doctor's paradise. I'm not understanding that one there. Okay. It might be worth having the health visa administrators on the show to clarify some things. To my understanding, a COVID test is not necessary for people transiting through Nassau if they're coming from an island where tests are not required. Okay. But all those islands that our previous caller mentioned, well, I believe most of those were ones that did require it. And that's why they had to take it. They were required to do it. So in any event, it's very expensive. It's very expensive. Yeah. Still, no? Okay. That's not, look, what happened? All right. So we're going to see if we can get that sorted out there. You want to take the break now then? Let's do that. And when we come back, we will hopefully have that situation sorted out. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your bank staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Get ready! The real March Madness is here! Up to 100% off store-wide at Alive! That's right! Devices, earbuds, tablets, and so much more with crazy slashed prices! Pay close attention to our social media pages. Visit any Alive location or visit bealive.com for the best deals on some of your favorite devices and accessories. That's March Madness going on now at Alive. Believe in best.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAO, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAO. Growing wealth for future generations.
RBC and Visa bring you a benefit as unique as you to enjoy Disney Plus. Get 2 months of the all-new Disney Plus streaming subscription on us if you have an RBC Visa Platinum card. Learn more by visiting www.rbc.com/Caribbean/Disney. Reimagine new ways to bank better.
Imagine. That's where every advancement begins. With an idea that things can be different, better. Now, imagine a world where your entertainment experience was all about you, your style, your show, at your budget. At Rev, that's what we've imagined. To join the conversation and learn more about the future of Rev TV, visit us at rev.bs/imagine.
Wake up, it's a new day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 Soul Bahamas.
Oh, yeah. All right. My beautiful islands. I tell you, if the good Lord never goes on holiday, tell me why he made the Bahamas. If the good Lord never used to come this way, tell me why he made these islands.
All right, we are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Don Sargent. And I don't know what happened, but we're going to see. Well, we'll hope everything's okay there. But we're going to move on. And it is Water and Sanitation Month. Did you know that? And we're going to be talking about water for all and the work of the Rotary Club, especially Rotary Club of Nassau. We've got president of Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise, Francis Dean, along with co-chair of Community Services, Kemi Jones. And we have from IsraAid, Dr. Anselino Davis. Everybody, welcome to the show. Welcome back. For those of you who've been with us before, great talking with you as always. Good morning.
Good morning, Dwight and Don.
Good morning, Dwight.
All right. Water and Sanitation Month. Okay, this is interesting. World Water Day was on the 22nd of March. So let's talk about that in general. What are the objectives of the month and World Water Day? What is it all about?
Well, I guess just to put it into context, Dwight, so in terms of the United Nations, since as far back as 2010, the access to water and sanitation has been declared a human right. So everyone has the right to have access to clean, affordable water and sanitary conditions. And prior to that, as far back as 1993, the month of March, 22nd of March, has always been celebrated as World Water Day globally, in alignment with those objectives in the United Nations. So it only stands to reason for us in Rotary that every year in this month of March, we celebrate and highlight the issue of providing water and sanitation for everyone. Today, the most recent estimates globally is that there are still about 2 billion people in the world who still have an issue accessing clean water and sanitation. So it's a very, very big issue globally, one that we in our Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise are more than willing to champion and take on the cause and help to support locally.
Mm-hmm. How are we doing here in the Bahamas?
Well, that's a very interesting question, and that's why we have on the call with us Dr. Anselino Davis, who's working with IsraAid in Abaco. Of course, post Hurricane Dorian, there are also challenges with accessing clean and affordable water in Grand Bahama and Abaco with the water table being compromised. So he can speak to some of those specifics from an ecological and scientific standpoint. But, we're just doing what we can from an NGO standpoint in terms of providing water and sanitation what we can and raising awareness. And that's part of the reason why we're happy to be here today.
Yep. Dr. Davis.
Yes, and thank you for having us here today. It is a mixed bag. So there are some really good things about being in the Bahamas. We have our water that is created and pumped through Water and Sewerage Corporation actually meets sanitation guidelines. And so the water that you get to the faucet at your home is pretty good considering the global standards. Sadly, though, a lot of that water actually is pumped from well fields on other family islands, or Bahamians tend to use wells to access drinking water and water for them to cook with or bathe with. And our water table is very fragile and it's very vulnerable to a lot of different forms of pollution, saltwater intrusion, indiscriminate pumping. So our water lens is not very deep or very big when you take it into perspective. So you put a whole bunch of independent wells just pulling water out there and people not really conserving water. you can really draw it down very fast. And one day your well is just pumping salt water and you wonder why.
My goodness. Let's talk specifically about Abaco and Grand Bahama. I was there shortly after Dorian in Grand Bahama, and they had been for decades boasting about how wonderful the water is there. But of course, that was a salty mess last year. Are things improving? What about Abaco?
Well, I was in Grand Bahama not too long ago, and yes, the water is very salty. And this is one of those issues when you have a very flat island and you have a major storm event like Hurricane Dorian was, and it washes over the island, that freshwater lands normally sits or floats on top of the salt water. But if you have salt water, and that was 20, 30 feet of salt water, it kind of just disperses the fresh water. And it can take years, decades for that to build back up to where it was. Mm-hmm. And so that's really unfortunate for the island of Grand Bahama. Here in Abaco, there similar things happened. We have well fields throughout the island. And that's one of the interesting things about the way our freshwater lenses work. They can be in pockets in various different places. And so we can draw from the water in different locations. That kind of is a saving grace in some points, but we also need to really monitor that much better. And so Israel is coordinating groundwater management, a sustainable groundwater management program right now with the Grand Bahama Utility Company and the Water and Sewage Corporation, where we're of things like how to monitor, how to assess the water quality, how to protect those well areas, make sure people aren't dumping, solid waste. There's people that pump sewage and just dump it into the environment. There's things like the oil spill in Grand Bahama that is ongoing a year and a half after Dorian.
Yep.
All of these things impact our water table. And so we want to be able to manage that, protect against that. And we're a vulnerable nation, and all of that water, it requires electricity as well, which is also unstable in the Bahamas. So we're really talking about all these different issues and helping to support our local utilities in delivering better quality water and delivering that water reliably to the people that need it.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So what Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise is doing to get the message out, and in this initiative to get people to understand the importance, the value of water, and how precious it is.
Good morning again, Dwight. Good morning, Bahamas. We are excited to be here this morning to talk about Water and Sanitation Month. 2 weeks ago, the Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise started an initiative in the Bain and Grandstand area, cleaning all of the pumps, the government pumps, cleaning around the pumps. And what we found was just amazing the way the pumps were kept. As we know, clean water and sanitation avoid exposure to diseases. Millions of people around the world die every year from disease. And we want to sensitize the people in the over the hill area to the importance of clean water and why it is so important to keep the surrounding pumps that they have to access each and every day to get clean water, to keep those areas clean. And so that is a project that we in the Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise will continue throughout the next 2 weeks to make sure and clean those pumps in those areas, make sure that the surrounding areas are cleaned, and the people in the area is why it is important to keep their area clean, to continue to get clean water provided by the government of the Bahamas. And to go a bit further, Rotary water and sanitation is one of the 6 focuses of Rotary. As we speak, Rotary is bringing clean water to the people of Haiti. There are many areas of Haiti where the people do not have access to clean water. To get water, they have to walk miles each and every day to access clean water. And Rotary is working to bring clean water to all areas of Haiti.
Impacted this initiative in any way? Has it made it more difficult?
No, we have moved freely in the Grandstown, Bean and Grandstown area. We have engaged many of the persons that we met along the streets, talking about the importance of them keeping the areas around the public pumps clean and keeping the pump itself clean. Some of those pumps were well kept while the majority were not. And so that is an area of focus for us during this month and beyond, because we know that the work will go into April, but we will continue until we have completed.
Right. You actually mentioned the pandemic just now, and I just want to add to what President Francis said, highlighting 2 other things. Because, of course, we know the pandemic has resulted in many persons losing their income and, unfortunately, being unable to provide income for their homes. So one of the things we did just last week on World Water Day, last week, Monday, we partnered with Occupure and donated over 1,000 gallons of water to the Red Cross with their Meals on Wheels program, which provides a hot meal for senior citizens 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. So we work with them because in many cases, yes, persons give food and they have access to food via the many initiatives. But one thing people have not considered is that, do you have access to water? So we stepped in to try and fill that gap. And we're also working with Department of Social Services right now, looking at some of these senior citizen centers and applying for a grant from Rotary to install water heaters in some of these locations. And we're taking that even further. One of the things we want to highlight is the fact that we actually do have a virtual competition going on right now, where we're asking the general public, given the pandemic and the need for clean water and sanitation being highlighted because of COVID, you can put together a 3 to 5 minute video letting us know, because of the pandemic, what has been your issues or what have you realized about the need for water and clean water and sanitation. And the best video will get a $250 cash prize. And for persons who are interested, they can contact us on our Facebook page at Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise, or also send us an email at rcnassausunrise@gmail.com. So we're doing a suite of initiatives to raise awareness.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
And from the environmental standpoint, this pandemic is going to have significant impacts on the environment. And you have masks, gloves, all the hand sanitizer bottles and that liquid in the environment. Then you have the demand for more water for people to wash their hands more regularly. And so all of this actually creates a higher burden on our water resources and our environment. From the Israeli perspective, we responded right after Hurricane Dorian hit, and through planning and coordination provided lots of water for people in the Bahamas, and then supported having wash stations and things like that. But ultimately, the planning and coordination of our current work program was delayed a little bit by the Hurricane Dorian and then COVID response initiatives. So there's some elements that are slowing down and some elements that are being impacted.
How long are you going to be over there, Dr. Davis? Is this a limited time project? Exactly.
So right now I'm going to be in Abaco through the completion of this well monitoring training that we're doing. And so we're actually inviting Bahamian workers in the Water and Sewage Corporation or the Grand Bahama Utility Company to go through a 10-module training program, which we've been doing online. And then we will invite some of the Water and Sewage Corporation agents over here to Abaco so that they can see the wells that we're developing firsthand. They can go through some of the monitoring, and we're really talking about how to develop this really, really thorough infrastructure that's based on the Bahamian environment. Because of course, there's lots of advice and stuff that you can give from an international or global standards perspective. But the Bahamas is really unique in terms of how our water resources are set up and all of that. So it's really important to consider that.
Wow. All right, so Cameos, I want you to say it one more time about the competition so people who missed it can really understand what they need to be doing, the deadlines that are involved. Tell us one more time what you're looking for.
Right. So as part of our effort to raise awareness about the need and issue of water and sanitation, realizing what has happened in the case of Grand Bahama and Abaco in particular, and just because of the COVID environment on the whole, we've heard many cases where persons would have been going to the pump because they don't have running water in their home and getting arrested, etc. So what we want is to hear stories, hear from persons in terms of, particularly in the COVID environment, how has that highlighted your experience and the need and the issues surrounding the need for water and sanitation? So persons are allowed to create a 3 to 5 minute video talking about their issues or what did they experience or observed. Just record a 3 to 5 minute video. You can do it on your phone or however you want to do it and send it to us at our email address, Rotary Club Nassau Sunrise @gmail.com. You can also check us out on our Facebook page, Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise, and there's more details there on the requirements for the video. And it goes until April 15th, so we're taking it a bit further into the month of April. And for the best video and submission, there's a $250 cash prize. Second place, $100, third place, $50. So it's a quick and easy way to make some money just telling us about your experience. And the purpose of this is also, it's the cash prize is just kind of a carrot, because we want to hear from persons and heighten persons' awareness and just let them think about what has this whole COVID environment brought to your awareness about the need for sanitizing and keeping yourself clean so we don't spread the virus.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wonderful stuff. And again, how can people get in contact with Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise?
Well, they can get us on our Facebook page, which is just, Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise. They can send us an email, rcnassausunrise@gmail.com. We have meetings every Thursday at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's a bit early, but it's easy just to knock it out quick and easy in the day to, have that camaraderie and talk to persons and learn a bit every week. So please feel free to reach out to us and learn more.
All right.
I would like to say that some of our attendees from the Water and Sewage Corporation training are listening in this morning. So I definitely like to send a shout out and a thank you for them and all of their support in delivering good, safe water to the Bahamas. And the United Methodist Church has sponsored this program. So they're also going to listen in to see, how we're representing the program and supporting the people in our country. And of course, you can find Israel Aid on Facebook as well, Bahamas.
Okay. All right. Wonderful stuff, Francis Dean, Kemi Jones, Dr. Ancelino Davis. I want all of you to stick around. We're going to take a break. Dr. Davis, I know we can talk. We were supposed to talk with the forestry unit about trees, but you can add to that conversation as well. We're going to talk about a little bit about that after the break. Stay with us. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Hello, sir. Your credit card bill is due. Hello, sir. It's time for your monthly loan payment. Tired of creditors pounding at your door? Sign up for a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank and consolidate your debt into one low monthly payment. What's more, you'll also earn interest on a built-in savings account. The pandemic has curbed many freedoms, but at Fidelity, our focus is to help regain your financial freedom. Or speak to Fidelity Bank at 356-7764. COVID safety measures in place at all branches. Fidelity, we're good for you.
RBC and Visa bring you a benefit as unique as you to enjoy Disney Plus. Get 2 months of the all-new Disney Plus streaming subscription on us if you have an RBC Visa Platinum card. Learn more by visiting www.rbc.com/Caribbean/Disney. Reimagine new ways to bank better.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and 326-1976.
Beulah, gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood.
We now large and in charge. So we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too?
Of course we can.
But we could be in deep trouble if they find out.
We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami.
So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles.
Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal.
So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's...
And we are 6.9, Dwight Strachan along with Don Sargent. We've got Dr. Angelino Davis with us and Kemi Jones and Francis Dean with Nassau Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise still with us. Trees, water, they are always linked together. Is that not right, Dr. Davis?
Yes, they are completely intertwined, especially in the Bahamas. Right now, our forestry reserves are, they're kind of spotty, and we have some significant historical impacts where we logged, almost completely logged all of our northern pine islands in the 60s and 70s and took out all those pine trees. And now they were recovering until Hurricane Dorian really just hammered the pine forest on Grand Bahama, and that might be decades before they're back to their former glory.
My goodness.
Here in Abaco, I've seen a lot of little baby pine trees popping up. They're like 6 inches tall now after a year and a half, but they're getting there. And then there's some really good, healthy, intact pine forest down south. Although it's really hard to build a forest back as humans, we can do a lot to improve forest cover in our own homes and yards. And the 100,000 tree planting initiative, which is led by the Caribbean Philanthropic Alliance, is supporting the sustainable lifestyle here in the Bahamas to plant 100,000 trees before, I think, June 2022. So you can reach out to them on Facebook or Instagram at The Sustainable Lifestyle, and free trees.
Wow.
So those are fruit trees, coastal trees, and just native plants that you can plant in your yard or in some public area. And so that's a really cool initiative.
Some people still don't think that makes a difference. Tell us just how much of a difference that number of trees will make?
So 100,000 trees, when you think about it, if you plant a tree in a place that it will not be removed, this tree is providing oxygen, is providing food and fruit for you and your family. Right now, there are so many things that we go to the food store for, and we have been taught that, that cannot grow in the Bahamas. But I personally, this past year during the pandemic, I was locked in. So what I did was every time I bought a fruit that I liked, I would plant it and grow it. I think 300 pomegranates. Pomegranates just have a bunch of seeds in it. So I grew 300 pomegranates and just gave them away to people. I grew 56 or 57 grapefruits. And those are all grown from seeds from grapefruits that I ate personally. Wow. And then limes, I grew another 100 and something limes. And I just gave away these trees. But you can imagine if we had started doing this with all of your neighbors, and they all had different fruit trees in their yard. When it's ganap season, I give out my ganaps. And when it's mango season, you give me some of your mangoes. This is how the communities used to be back in the day. Yep. And we didn't have this high import of food, and especially fruits and fresh fruits that grow well in the Bahamas. We don't need to be doing that. Anytime you buy an onion, you eat a part of it and plant a part of it. And me, everywhere I live, I plant onions. That's the first thing I plant. And I refuse to buy green onions. After you buy that first pack, that's like 20 little onions, and you cut off the top and then you plant the bottom, and you can have them growing forever.
Wow.
But people don't really have this as a part of our culture anymore.
Yep.
But also all of those trees, when you plant them, when that rain comes down, rain is dirty. It washes the dirt off the leaves, all the smog and pollution that you have in the air from the cars driving past, the jitneys with their black smoke coming out. When that filters down through all these roots and stuff, that eventually goes to our water lens. And if we don't have the trees protecting that water lens and filtering some of that stuff out, all of that ends up in our water and in our water resources. And when you have something like Hurricane Dorian, you can actually see from satellite images where the pathways are for water to come into the island. And most of those pathways are lined with trees like the mangroves, buttonwood, sea grape, and those trees are there because they can tolerate that impact from hurricanes and storms. But if we cut them out so that you could build your house on the beach, that same piece of property that you cut out, that's also going to have that water just allowed to sweep through and get into the communities that would have been protected by those coastal species. So with this initiative, what we're doing is trying to plant throughout the country to support the healthy environments that protect us from storm damage, that provide food and fruit for us. During the COVID pandemic, the foodist was the people who couldn't go out anymore. They were fishing in the creek in Adelaide. They were going into the bushes and collecting cocoa plum, sea grape. They were, a lot of people, unfortunately, were stealing from farms and farmers. But if we had more sustainability in the Bahamas, especially food sustainability and security in this manner, not thinking about the money, but thinking about people eating, that would be much better for us.
Absolutely. Wow. That's some great information there. I hope people are listening. I hope they're paying attention. But a pleasure talking with you. It's been a while, but great, Dr. Anselino Davis. Great to have you doing this wonderful work here and in Abaco, and look forward to talking with you again. And Kemi Jones and Francis Dean, thank you again for what you're doing with the Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Is it for Morning Blend. We're going to be back after the break with Morning Blend Business. Should you be a homeowner, or is renting the way you should go for the rest of your life? We're going to talk about how to know the difference coming up. You don't want to miss that. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up.
Welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. This morning, we're going to be talking about home ownership. Is it right for you? Despite what we've been led to believe that you grow up and you buy a home, is it really the way everybody should go? And is renting for the rest of your life just perfectly fine for some people, or should it be? We're going to be talking about that this morning, so you definitely don't want to miss that. Before we get to it, though, it's time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. In your morning business report, as predicted, external reserves continue to be eaten away as the ongoing slump in tourism and private banks' demands persisted during the month of February. The Central Bank of the Bahamas, in its recent monthly economic assessment, said external reserves dropped by $62.8 million to $2.2 billion last month, following the expected trend laid out by its governor over the course of the COVID-19 pandemic. Government borrowing bolstered reserves to $2.3 billion at the end of 2020. According to the bank in its statement, its monthly economic and financial developments report for February just released, it says the decrease was reflective of the ongoing travel restrictions related to the COVID-19 pandemic, combined with the demand for foreign currency by the public sector and the commercial banks. In particular, it says the central bank's foreign currency transactions with the public sector reversed to a net sale of $48.8 million from a net purchase of $9.1 million in 2020. It says similarly, the bank's transactions with commercial banks switched to a net sale of $15.1 million from a net purchase of $91.2 million in the preceding year, as commercial banks reported a net sale of $16.3 million to their customers following a net intake of $80.3 million a year earlier. The central bank also stated that domestic demand for foreign currency dropped by $132.4 million in February, with sales amounting to $373 million. Primarily, purchases of foreign goods and services via credit and debit card transactions decreased by $116.4 million, while oil imports and travel-related by $14.8 million and by $9.3 million, respectively. In a partial offset, foreign currency sales rose for factor income of $3.6 million, non-oil imports $2.8 million, and transfer payments $1.9 million. The continued loss of foreign reserves is expected to be maintained at least until there's a rebound in the country's tourism product. That return is expected to remain sluggish during 2021 as COVID-19 travel restrictions remain in place. Environmentalists opposed to Disney Cruise Line's development of a cruise port at Lighthouse Point in Eleuthera have called on Minister of the Environment and Housing Romuald Ferreira to extend the public review period for Disney's Environmental Impact Assessment, its EIA, contending that 30 days is not enough to properly review and comment on the 550-page document. In a letter to Ferreira last week, the environmentalists asked for a 90-day review period instead of the month given, and have urged the government to release the details of a planned April 8th meeting to discuss the EIA. You can read more about this in today's Guardian Business section. Royal Caribbean International stating that bookings for its cruise departing from Nassau's cruise port in June are off to a strong start. The company telling Guardian Business that there has been an encouraging uptake of the first few sailings in June, and that there's been quite a bit of enthusiasm. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has not allowed cruise lines to sail from American ports in more than 1 year, with no end in sight to the restriction. Home porting in the Bahamas has now become a workaround for cruise lines in order for them to resume cruising this summer. They've chosen to home port their vessels in places like the Bahamas and Bermuda and have their customers fly in from another country to board those vessels. And Dr. Charles Diggers is the new Chief Executive Officer of Doctors Hospital, with the departure of Charles Seeley, who's left the company after, that's according to statements from both Seeley and Doctors Hospital Chairman Felix Stubbs. In his statement, Stubbs lauded Seeley for his role in growing the hospital and helping to implement myriad initiatives within the healthcare system. Seeley telling Guardian Business that his contract expired last June, but he decided to stay on until last week. He released his own statement, hailing the departure as the move to the next chapter of his life. You can get more details in today's Guardian Business section. Overseas, Spain launching a diplomatic push into Africa, marking out the continent as a political priority with an ambitious plan to build closer economic and institutional ties. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez saying he wanted to turn this decade into the decade of Spain in Africa. Sanchez unveiling his Africa-focused 2023 plan at an event in Madrid, attended by Ghana's president and the foreign ministers of Ghana and Senegal, Kenya's head of trade, and the president of the African Development Bank. Spain had few colonial possessions in Africa compared to some other European countries, but Sanchez notes that the continent lies just a couple of dozen kilometers away from the southern Spanish coast. He describes Spain as Europe's southern gateway for Africa. Tens of thousands of African migrants eager to enter Europe have made use of that short distance to cross the Mediterranean Sea to Spain in recent years in what is often a perilous journey. Spain has been working with the government of northern African nations in an effort to stem the tide. Sanchez saying on Monday that a lack of opportunities was driving them away and that Spanish investment in Africa might help them to. Sanchez is due to visit Senegal and Angola from April 7th through 9th. Closer to home in your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX. From Monday, your market movers, Bahamas Waste moving 2,050 shares, closing up 40 cents to 640. Commonwealth Brewery moving 2,450, down 40 cents to 440. Folk Call moving 25,000, down 30 cents to 350. Consolidated Water down 2 cents to 272. And Emir Incorporated down up 9 cents to $11.05. The BISX All Share Index closing at 1,934.74, down 13.27. That's your Market Watch, and that is your Morning Business Report. Brought to you by CFAO, growing wealth for future generations. You're listening to Morning Blend Business. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969, text us on the Guardian Radio text line 422-4796 or .com/Morning Blend 969. When we come back, home ownership, is it necessarily for you? How to know the difference? We're going to talk about that when we get back. Stay with us.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAL, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Always on the go? Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
For the past 33 years, Great Commission Ministries has been defending the poor and hurting, feeding the hungry, and sheltering the homeless. We invite you to support our Live to Give program and make a difference in these challenging times. Become a donor by giving a one-time annual gift or a monthly donation of $50 or $100. Call Great Commission Ministries at 325-5801 for more details, or visit our headquarters at 237 Wolf Road. Join Live to Give today. This public service announcement is proudly sponsored by this radio station.
Boy, why you look so mashed up like clothes at the washer?
No, boy, just a hard day, boy.
Hard day? What happened? The breakfast lady ran out of tuna and gritty.
We need to start joking about everything, you know. This serious, boy. This real serious, boy.
Boy, what's serious? Tell me.
All right, well, today, boss gave us, boy, one big contract. And nobody else get a chance and nobody say nothing.
Boy, you know that ain't right. You know government contracts ain't supposed to go that way.
Yeah, but nobody's saying nothing. Boss man just tell people to sign the papers. Then he send me to meet this boy downtown and collect this envelope.
You need to tell somebody. You need to become a whistleblower.
You know what's a whistleblower? No whistle. I be drunk all my life and junk.
No way. A whistleblower is someone who tells people what they see when they see something wrong happening at work.
But I ain't no whistleblower and I ain't no snitch. I still right there, you know.
But ain't nobody can know it's you. All you gotta do is call Crime Stoppers, or you could text them from inside the Crack Crime Bahamas app. They don't ask about you, and your call goes straight through to Miami, so nobody know you is. And if you text, your message get mixed up like Kong Salad.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Nassau, Bahamas.
Another summer day has come and gone away from Paris or Rome, but I wanna go home. Maybe surrounded by a million people, I still feel all alone. Just wanna go home. I miss you, you know. And I've been keeping all the letters that I wrote to you, each one a line or two. I'm fine, baby, how are you? Well, I would send them, but I know that it's just not enough. My words were cold and flat, and you deserve more than that. Another airplane.
We're back here with Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday morning, and we've been having lots of conversations about real estate recently in the country for various reasons, but we're posing an interesting question today. Home ownership. Is it necessary? Who should be aiming for? And perhaps renting for the rest of your life might be okay for you. How do you know the difference? Or is that possible at all? Should we all aspire to owning our own home? We're going to put that question to our guests this morning. We've got real estate agent and expert Matt Sweeting, and from Druber Solutions, financial advisor Nathaniel Butler. Gentlemen, great to have you with us this morning.
So great to be back on the show. Thanks, Dwight.
Yeah, same here. When Nathaniel told me about this opportunity, I was excited to catch up with Dwight again.
It's been a while.
Thanks for having us.
It's been a long time, Matt. Great to have you with us. All right, so people already send me messages like, why do you like people to hate you? That's to me asking this question because this is going to make people angry. But is it possible that not all of us should own our own home? Is that something that we need to face? Or is that something we all should be aspiring to? Let's start with that question first, and then we can get deeper into it. Who wants to take that one on?
I'll get started. You know, I've been thinking about this, and this is such an interesting question. I've always been intrigued about this. Is it in our best benefit to rent or to buy? And I was doing some numbers and kind of running through the life cycle of two people, and I think the evidence is overwhelming, and that we should own real estate. So that's a slight adjustment from what you said, and I believe you meant that interchangeably, Dwight, when you say whether we should own our own home. But I want to adjust that statement to mean we should all own our own real estate. And so the answer to that question, I believe overwhelmingly, in my opinion, is yes.
Okay. All right. Nathaniel, what do you have? Similar views?
I do have similar views. However, one of the things I want to just point out to everyone is the fact that though you may have the aspiration of owning your own home, you also have to look at your current situation. And the reality of it is that there are a number of persons, the practicality of them owning their own home is a bit difficult. And then also you have to also take into consideration that there's a growing populace of persons who don't want to own their own home, but they want to own, like Matt said, real estate. So they want to rent, but at the same time, they want to own real estate, possibly in residential rentals or commercial rentals.
Okay, now that's blowing some people's minds to hear this. You're renting, but you own all this land all over the place, or real estate all over the place. Why would we do that? Why would you renting? Explain it. Why?
So I would start off by saying that. So there's a group of persons who are saying, mostly among millennials, and it's a growing populace, who are saying that I don't want the responsibility of maintaining a habit of dealing with the like lawn maintenance, all of those extra stuff that you have to deal with. In some cases, you might find that they may not even have the money for the upfront costs or the closing costs or sufficient collateral. However, in the midst of all of this, they would prefer to rent a condo. They prefer to be mobile so they can move up and down different islands. I think sometimes we look at Bahamians in a box and say, well, I want home ownership, so every one of my brothers and sisters, they want home ownership as well. And that's really not the case. But in regards to the owning of the real estate, we also have to take into consideration many Bahamian families are land rich. So there are persons who acquire properties through deed of gifts, deed of assent. It's passed on to them. Then some persons have rights to cottages, family homesteads. The list goes on and on. Or sometimes you find that, which is also a now growing trend, people purchase property in groups. And so the pressure of coming up with all of the money up front, now it's no longer on them. One, it's shared. So in regards to, are they going to live in that space what they're purchasing or what they have acquired? No, they sometimes have no desire for that. They just opt to rent.
Wow. Matt, you're noticing this trend as well?
Yeah, I definitely, and I think me and Nathaniel run in probably similar circles where a number of groups are now looking to buy real estate as a cooperative as opposed to the individual purchase, which obviously provides financial hurdles. And you know, the rental market is extremely strong. And so we see that a number of people in varying demographics are ending up renting due to life circumstance more than an intentional choice to do so.
Oh, okay. Let's make it a money issue then. Will you be saving money? Is it possible to save money to be renting in a nice place? Save money by renting as opposed to paying off a mortgage. Are you likely to save at all in the long term?
Yeah, I think that's a strong possibility. And so when I was thinking about this discussion, Dwight, I was thinking about each individual, and we do this for people who come to us to list or to sell, we ask them to start with the end in mind. And the question for that person that might be on the fence, unsure, is real estate the best route to go? Is start with the end in mind. And so when I ran this scenario of the life cycle of a renter and a buyer, it would appear based on a 10% saving strategy. This person saves 10% of their income since they were 18, and maybe they didn't do that. But it not until you reach, and me and Nathaniel had this discussion the other day, that not until you reach about the $40,000, $30,000 range to buy a developed property, meaning that a building is on it, that you're going to be realistically in the range of purchasing your first home. So you need to have 30, and this is a blanket statement. There are some scenarios that might change this. You need to have about $30,000+ in savings. That's a big hurdle to start with. And so what is the end goal for that person after they've retired, after they don't actively work and want an investment that is going to pay them without active effort, passive income? And so the question would be, if they started with that end in mind, what opportunities are there generally, and then more specifically in the Bahamas, for me to tap into to give me the ability to do that? Mm-hmm. And real estate, again, is loudly shouting to you as the greatest, easiest opportunity to get into to be able to do that.
Wow. All right. So is it enough to hold on to just land by itself, or do you really need to have a property that will bring in money for you? Is that the ideal way to go, or does it matter at all?
Yeah, I think the prior rather than the latter, and meaning that you probably want developed property. I think about, there have been some stark examples, Carmichael being one of them, and I was commenting a few weeks ago on a family that I worked with. A popular fast food chain is at this location now. They likely this land very cheap. Michael, once upon a time, had farmland on it. Mm-hmm. And that land that they, let's assume, maybe bought for $3,000, $5,000, rented, sold 20 years later for $1 million. I'm thinking about, and so that to your question then, where in the Bahamas is, in Nassau more specifically, are there opportunities like this where someone could hold on to land for 10, 20 years and expect considerable, a five-figure appreciation? I'd be, and I want to think about this as I say it, because this is a bold statement, but I'd be hard-pressed to consider where that is. Which property will appreciate 5 figures plus over a 10 to 20 year period? Mm-hmm. And I think that opportunity has minimized over the last decade or two.
Yeah, wow. What about the Family Islands? Are we not ever going to see an exodus from New Providence and people flocking to the Family Islands to get away from what we're seeing here? Is that not a possibility?
Some persons, not a whole lot, but you will see some persons returning back to their family island, in a sense, for retirement purposes. Mm-hmm. And then there's also those nodding islands, which as activities start to pick up, as we post this COVID era, you'll find that persons will travel there or live there for employment purposes. But the large max exodus that you're speaking of, not at this moment, not at this time, maybe 10 years from now. Mm-hmm. The level of development on the Family Islands, the level of progression in regards to probably the Airbnb market may force, or it may put a lot of persons in position to go to the Family Islands and really find a means of living on those various northern Family Islands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So let's map out a scenario then, based on what you're both saying, and how someone could save money and be in a better financial position if they were to look for that real estate, that income property, but still rent And if they're a young person just starting out, well, what would you recommend? What direction should they go? What to do first? Still living at home? What would you say?
Well, let me start with the real estate aspect, and Nathaniel, you could address the savings and readiness aspect of it. I think, that person 18, 20, 25 right now should start to learn about real estate. And that's one of the things we're advocating in my new agency, One Oak Bahamas. We are telling people to start their real estate journey now. And, even when we start, if we're considering looking for a car, we don't look for a car until that AC draw is coming in or until the car that we have is broken down. And I think that might be to our own fault, especially in real estate, because, it's the kind of decision, it's the kind of thing you only do once, maybe twice, and if you're fortunate, more than that in your lifetime. And so the education about it should start now. One of the interesting statistics about real estate is that 90+% of people who have become financially successful do that through real estate. And so, we know that our generation, I think more than our parents are, and I feel very confident about this statement. I believe that we're more financially ambitious. And if that's the case, and real estate is closely tied to our financial ambitions, our education about it should be a little bit more intentional. And so, even if you're a few years away from your real estate purchase, from being actively involved in real estate, start to learn about it now. Set up a RSS feed or Google alerts for any time a real estate article is published. Do some real estate courses on Udemy. And so you need to learn about real estate, maybe 5 to 7 years outside of the window of purchase, so that when you are ready to make that move, you're doing it more intelligently.
I agree with Matt. I would say, in addition to that, whilst you're doing that, you have to have an idea of what prices are here in the country. I think sometimes we have persons who want to live West Ridge, but they have Pinewood. They qualify for Pinewood. And nothing wrong with either area, but you still have to be mindful of what it costs to live in the area that you want to live in. In addition to that, once you have an idea what those prices are, you then need to start the process of saving. You need a minimum of between 5 to 10%. I would advocate to have more than that, so you can have a better interest rate at the financial institution you're going to acquire your financial facility from. And then two, in the process of you saving your money, start having conversations with a lot of these financial institutions, see what you qualify for, and keep going back until you improve your capital. In the midst of this, one of the main points that is not rarely discussed with homeowners or potential homeowners who are living with their parents is collateral. You need to start securing different forms of collateral. And the number one item of collateral would be insurance. The earlier you purchase it, the cheaper it would be, especially when you're in good health in your youth. And then from there, the dreadful closing costs most persons are not aware of. And that's the legal fees along with the taxes that are associated with the transfer of the property. So you want to be cognizant and watch the figures, because you're not in a position now to acquire the property. So you want to be cognizant to make sure that when your time comes, you are aware of what the taxes are going to be at that point in time, and also what your legal fees. Every financial institution has a list, an approved list of law firms that they would work with. And in addition to that, for most persons who are in prep going forward, they also have to look at their credit, because now the credit bureau will be in full effect, and probably later on this year, we'll probably have the numbers, our credit scores. And so you want to make sure that that is maintained, that is healthy in itself. And so we talk about capital, collateral, closing costs, and credit. And all of that can be built over a period of time. And once you tick all of those boxes now, and as Matt said, are you aware of your real estate intelligence, then you're now in the best position to acquire any type of property that fits your budget.
All right. So What do you say to the person listening right now who say all those things you both just mentioned? That this is why I don't ever want to be a homeowner. I just go and pick a place to rent, and my life is simple. Bam. End of story. What do you say to this? Somebody who's thinking that I don't need those hassles. I don't need to deal with banks and financial institutions and credit scores and closing or lawyers, any of that. Give me a simpler way of life.
I would say to them, that's fine. And even though sometimes if they publicly share their views on why renting is it's better or more advantageous to them, they might be criticized because like it was said before, owning a piece of property is the Bahamian dream to a large extent. But that's fine. If that's what they're comfortable with, if they don't want to take on the financial pressure and burden and not only acquiring it, but maintaining and sustaining it, then that's fine. Mm-hmm. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with Nathaniel. I think, we need to do what makes us happy. But again, what we don't want to do, and we were having this discussion about people who fall into repossession. They don't see what not doing something results in. Mm-hmm. And so to that point, does come with some headache. Yes, it is, real estate, home ownership or real estate ownership is a headache of a journey. There are trials and hurdles throughout. But again, if that person, unless they have some means of ways to possibly feed themselves and create an income past their working years, I'd strongly suggest they look at it.
Yep. That's great.
They could rent.
Great point there. You got to think about retirement and what's going to happen then. All right.
And also, Dwight, too, we also have to take into consideration we have a lot of people in our country, even outside of the pandemic. We have a lot of persons in our country who are house poor. They have a house. They don't have sufficient cash flow coming in to sustain the house that they have in their family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about this. And did the pandemic, is that the sign that renting is not the way to go because of so many issues that can go wrong there, especially with people losing their jobs? And this lease to own option that we are hearing more and more about. Is that right for some people? We'll talk about that after the break. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
I got to go home. Let me go home. I'm just too far from where you are. I want to come home.
RBC and Visa bring you a benefit as unique as you to enjoy Disney Plus. Get 2 months of the all-new Disney Plus streaming subscription on us if you have an RBC Visa Platinum card. Learn more by visiting www.rbc.com/Caribbean/Disney. Reimagine new ways to bank better.
For the past 33 years, Great Commission Ministries has been defending the poor and hurting, feeding the hungry, and sheltering the homeless. We invite you to support our Live to Give program and make a difference in these challenging times. Become a donor by giving a one-time annual gift or a monthly donation of $50 or $100. Call Great Commission Ministries at 325-5801 for more details. Or visit our headquarters at 237 Wolf Road. Join Live to Give today. This public service announcement is proudly sponsored by this radio station.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAL, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Boy, why you look so mashed up like clothes at the washer?
No, boy, just a hard day, boy.
Hard day? What happened? The breakfast lady ran out of tuna and gritty.
We need to start joking about everything, This serious, boy. This real serious, boy.
Boy, what's serious? Tell me.
All right, well, today, boss gave us, boy, one big contract. And nobody else get a chance and nobody say nothing.
Boy, you know that ain't right. You know government contracts ain't supposed to go that way.
Yeah, but nobody's saying nothing. Boss man just tell people to sign the papers, then he send me the meters boy downtown and collect this envelope.
You need to tell somebody. You need to become a whistleblower.
You know I's a real man, but I never blow no whistle. I be drunk all my life and junk, you know.
No way. A whistleblower is someone who tells people what they see when they see something wrong happening at work.
But I ain't no whistleblower, and I ain't no snitch. I still white there, you know.
But all you gotta do is call Crime Stoppers, or you could text them from inside the Crack Crime Bahamas app. They don't ask about you, and your call goes straight through to Miami, so nobody know you is. And if you text, your message get mixed up like Kong salad.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
But I know that it's just not enough. My words were cold and flat, and you deserve more.
And we've got your final look at weather for this morning. We've got a strengthening high-pressure ridge that will continue to promote locally strong winds across the Bahamas through tonight. Beachgoers should continue to exercise caution along East Coast beaches due to the risk of rip currents. For all areas today, forecast calls for the northwest Bahamas today, your forecast calls for variably cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions with a few light passing showers through tonight. For the central and southeast Bahamas, partly to mostly sunny, warm, and very breezy with a few light passing showers possible through tonight. There's a small craft caution in effect for the northwest Bahamas, small craft advisory in effect for the central and southeastern islands. 70 or 80 degrees now in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 70 Fahrenheit, 21. We are expecting some changes, though. We've got high-pressure ridging that will continue to support pleasant conditions while gradually retracting eastwards as a cold front is expected to move into the northwest Bahamas, the extreme northwestern islands by Thursday evening. The front will usher in seasonably cooler temperatures, strong winds, and hazardous marine conditions. So for Wednesday, ahead of that front, look for variably cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions with a few stray showers possible in the northwest Bahamas, mostly sunny, warm, and breezy with a stray shower or two in the central and southeastern Bahamas. For Thursday, look for variably cloudy and warm conditions with a few light passing showers, becoming cloudy, cool, and breezy with isolated showers and the chance of an isolated thunderstorm, mainly in the extreme northwest Bahamas by Thursday evening as that front moves through. After the front passes, by Friday, Good Friday, we're expecting temperatures in the 70s for highs only, in the 60s again for your lows at night. And that pattern should hold throughout the holiday weekend before warming back up early into the new week after the holidays. That's your morning blend weather check.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Another sunny place, I'm lucky, I know, but I wanna go home. I got to go home. Let me go home. I'm just too far from where you wanna come home.
Welcome back to Morning Blend Business. Dwight Strachan with you on this Tuesday morning. We are trying to get answers to the question, is home ownership for everybody? Should some people just be satisfied renting indefinitely? We've got Matt Sweeting with One Oak Bahamas and Nathaniel Butler with Druba Solutions helping to answer the questions. And so they're saying, well, we should all aim for real estate, ownership in real estate, whether you decide to rent where you live or not. You should own something. right?
Yeah, that is my position. And yeah, I mean that is an option as well. Own real estate, but you might live somewhere else that you rent. I heard such an interesting philosophy yesterday, and I was giving some thought to it as well. This guy says he owns $1 billion real estate fund. He says he only purchases what pays him, and he rents what doesn't. And so his cars, where he lives, he would rent, but he places he would never even consider living, which is a very interesting thought. And again, it comes to the point, maybe the home that you live in, the property you live in, you might rent, but you own real estate that's bringing you in money, and best case scenario, paying for the place where you're renting.
But is that something that only rich people can say? I mean, can you not be wealthy and have that philosophy, that mentality?
I think it is very doable that you can. Absolutely. I mean, a lot of the clients that we serve, especially the one of Bahamas, we're in the under $1 million local market, right? And so a lot of the people that we represent own real estate that is mid-range, Joe Farrington, Pinewood, Stapleton, Michael. They have full-time jobs, and those income properties, those investment properties are paying for themselves and paying dividends even on a monthly basis that could give them the ability to subsidize another property. So it's very doable.
Wow. All right. So we know this has been a very challenging year for renters and for landlords as well. Many people have not had steady income or any income at all over the last 12 months, and this has been a nightmare for the rental market. Is that a sign that you do need more security, that you need to have or aspire to be in your own home, and that you would have more flexibility if you are paying a mortgage with your lender? Or do you just need to rent from the right landlord if we ever face a situation like this again?
Nathaniel, I was pausing for you. I think what the pandemic has definitely done is it showed people, the globe, the importance of security through real estate, and you being in the real estate, in the investment of somebody else, makes you beholden to them. They can decide on a whim, on a moment's notice, they do not want you there, right? And then you need to come up with a first loss in security again, which is a hurdle in itself for renters. And so, while home ownership comes with its challenges, losing your mortgage, potentially having your property displayed in the paper, all of those things are the potential ramifications of home ownership. But again, it comes down to that long-term goal. And I don't want to keep harping on that, but that's what it is. It's if I've rented for the same period that someone would get a mortgage, 25 years, what do I leave that property with after that period?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got to agree with Matt with that. I think we have to look at the pandemic. It shows us how vulnerable we are and how susceptible we are when external factors have changed in our lives. In regards to owning a home, coming out of the pandemic and having somewhat leeway where you can negotiate with financial institutions to a degree, and in maintaining it and keeping it, even though you fall behind, and have some plan to catch up, versus dealing with a landlord who may also be under the gun by a financial institution who may not be as lenient because they now have to make payments and would prefer to find tenants, even though the pool of tenants, potential tenants, is very small at that time, who can pay. I think regardless of what option you choose or what path you're going to take, that you have to prepare to a large extent for contingencies. No one could have prepared for the pandemic and the way how it happened and how long it took. And we're still in parts of it as well. We still haven't reached fully the post-era. But I think for the most part, regardless of what path you take, you have to have some type of backup plan in some regards.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, getting some great questions. We're going to get to those in just a bit. But lease to own, we've been hearing more and more about this. Explain it to us exactly how this works. Is this the best of both worlds? You're renting, but you're also likely to own it in the end. And are they nothing more than a scam, as one of our texters is saying this morning?
Yeah. So rent to own, lease to own, rent to buy. The phraseology, the term of that is still kind of ambiguous in its real definition, and rightfully so, because each rent to own scenario varies from transaction to transaction.
Yes.
And so the differences from one could be the terms, the down payment, a buyout period, or whether they're financing it for a longer term. How does it convert? When does it convert? All of these things are movable and negotiable items in each rent to own scenario. No, it's not a scam, but it does allow for impropriety. And so you need to do your due diligence. The way that you assure that you are not getting tied up in a scenario like that is have your attorney read it. Is the company that you're associated with or deciding to get into a rent-to-own scenario with, is it a limited company? How long have they been in business? How successful have they been in this strategy? And so these are some things you could do to kind of mitigate your concerns there. But one of the largest residential communities in the Bahamas is a rent-to-own community. And in that particular instance, the developer decided to take the rent-to-own scenario for the term. And that means that as opposed to having to go to a bank, at the outset, they allowed people to rent-to-own for the entire 25-year period, which is few and far between. But oftentimes, there's a buyout period. And so the question is it the best of both worlds? To a degree it is, because what it does is allow someone who's not ready to go to the bank just yet, some leniency to be able to do that. So now you move into the property, and traditionally this is the way it works. You move into the property with a fairly sizable down payment, 5% plus at minimum. And then you pay a monthly payment, and it could be mortgage payment, where an interest portion of that goes towards is interest and the rest goes to principal. Or the way I've seen it worded alternatively is rent credit. So let's assume you pay $2,000 a month, $500 of that goes to the principal, and the $1,500 is considered rent. And so both of those scenarios could work. But again, these are more often than not strategies to open the door to more clients who are not ready for the bank just yet.
Right. Well, I can think there's a lot of people who don't want to be living at home. They're young, don't want to be living at home. And of course, people tell you, oh my gosh, all this money that you're using to rent, you could be saving for your mortgage. And the time just goes by and by, and then you get out of the favorable market for what the banks will look at as someone they'd want to lend to. But this sounds like this could be, if you can, as you say, get your lawyers to look over it, this could be a good option for quite a few people.
Yeah,
No, I agree.
Go ahead, Nathaniel. Go ahead.
No, I totally agree. I myself, who is not in need of a lease to own, but I'm engaged right now in ownership financing, where I'm keeping the bank out of the transaction for the purpose of acquiring some other properties where I may need the bank to be involved. And I say that to say this. I agree with Matt. Make sure you have your lawyers at the table. Make sure your lawyers are definitely involved. Make sure you have different lawyers from the person who. But more importantly, I do believe that for a number of persons, for getting the capital, getting the closing costs, it is difficult. I do not want to paint the picture that this is something that can be done within a year, 2 years for the average Bahamian who's making under $30,000. It is extremely difficult, especially when you consider our cost of living.
Yeah.
But this option does make it feasible for a lot of persons. However, I can't say it enough. You make sure you do your due diligence, make sure you get your lawyers involved, and sometimes even get your real estate agents involved, who could be the buffer in the beginning, just to verify that everything checks out.
All right. If you have any questions for Matt Sweeting and Nathaniel Butler, call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. You can tweet us, Facebook us, or text us, 422-4796. And we are getting quite a few text messages. Someone says, here, ask your guests what income would they need to pay rent and buy property. I make $4,000 a month, and rent is $1,500, food, etc. There's no way I can afford anything while renting. A lot of people find themselves in that same scenario.
Right. Yeah, he might be right. So what does that leave? That leaves $2,500 a month that he has in we could call it disposable income. So one consideration he might make, and this is probably Nathaniel's wheelhouse here, is he might want to consider reducing his rent or as we're talking now, maybe a rent-to-own scenario. So it gives him the ability to kind of move into it with nearly immediately, and then work towards that ownership period. But I think one of the things is if that's not an option, because they're few and far between, he might want to consider reducing his monthly expenses to get on that real estate journey.
No, Matt said it. I think it really boils down to lifestyle. If a real estate agent can find him the same in a rent-to-own option for the same amount, but the question is, does he want to live in that area? Or do you want to downscale the lifestyle? And these are questions which affects persons at their core. And so they have options, but now is it a viable option for the individual? And it really comes down to lifestyle.
This text here, the aftermath of 9/11, the 2008 recession, and now COVID has shown me as a two-time homeowner that owning is overrated. The cost of maintaining, preparing for hurricanes, and insurance premiums is astronomical and makes it unsustainable. I wish I was paying rent, oh boy, and let the landlord have the headaches.
So, so interesting when we do presentations like that, you always have somebody who jumps up and says what was just said. And it's true. Persons who have been down the road and deal with the burden of insurances, hurricanes, and always remember this, we're in a cycle. After COVID-19, in another probably 5 to 10 years, we'll have some other external crisis, which will have almost the same result. So, no, I totally agree.
This one here, great show as usual, but I think it's ridiculous that black people don't own anything. When most of us die, we leave nothing but our kids with a pair of Jordans and one old Paso and more bills. Oh, boy. Okay. So I guess they're on the ownership train as well. This was asking which communities can we get more information about rent to own? Where are they? How can you find out more about them? Are they going to be advertised with the regular real estate companies? Are they going to be
they do. And like I say, they're few and far between. We just put one under contract this week. Now, what I think is an opportunity, and I'll be very brief, I know we're closing, is homes that are on the market. Maybe you want to reach out to an agency or an agent. So get in touch with us. My contact is Matt at One Oak Bahamas. My number is 808-6868. And I'm developing a list now. So I've had this inquiry last week, and we just put one under contract. And anytime that something comes up, just because they're few and far between, I'll send you whatever we have that becomes available. If we were to explain a little bit more about it, they vary so much from transaction to transaction that it would be nothing is static in a rent to own scenario. So all of the terms are negotiable. But we could discuss that more offline, and I can tell you a little bit more about it. That invitation is open to anyone that has a question about real estate or rent to own.
Yeah. Well, as you said, we don't have much time left, but I want to ask you, so if you are an owner and you are living somewhere else, but you have a property that you wouldn't mind, you're getting older and you might want to, you've got no kids to give it to or something, is that something you should be thinking about? Maybe I can get somebody in here to rent this. I'll have income every month, and then they can own it after 20-something years when I'll be 80, 90, 100 years old or something? Is that something you should be thinking about?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up, Nathaniel. I'll give you a moment to speak here. But what that allows someone to do is let's assume that, like when we were last on the radio, we had a family called me, and they live in a home, huge home, and it's now just they had prepared this home for their mothers, their parents. Their parents died, so the home is way too big for them now. They want to downsize now. And so that downsize option could come in either way. Number one, they can do what we're proposing here. They could rent to own their home and live somewhere else. The good thing about rent to own is you get to charge a premium on interest, on down payment, and on monthly payments. And so anyone that's considered that, their yield could be a little bit higher than if they traditionally rented it.
The older you get, Dwight, the more you're going to downsize.
Yeah. Got to keep that in mind. Okay. This is an interesting discussion. I'm sure people will be thinking about this more, and we may have to do a part 2 to this at some point. But I really do appreciate talking with you this morning, Matt Sweeting and Nathaniel Butler. Great stuff. Thank you again.
Thank you, Dwight. Appreciate it.
No problem, man. Thanks, Dwight.
All right. And that is it for us for Morning Blend Business this morning. We're back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock following Morning Blend right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day, everybody. Coming up next, On the Clock with Aaron Green.